Pasha. There is Pasha. I found Pasha. Oh boy, let's get our blocker up since I am trying to win. I do not want you spying on my army. Ash Plains Conquest looks good. Now let's just do the audio check. Oh boy, let's get our blocker up since I am... Audio check seems fine. Seems fine. Now we just need to tell people we're streaming again. Bastards. Okay. Setting things up is stressful and hard. Hello, Ratman. How goes it? You're silly. That's why. You're silly. It goes fine. I'm definitely focusing on talking to you and not focusing on getting this stream up. Yep. You have my full attention. Yep. All right, everybody has been informed of the stream. Closing that down so I don't need to use extra CPU resources. Just sitting on a YouTube thing. Hi, everybody. How's it going? We are playing in, and when I inevitably get knocked out, streaming a Faction War Qualifier. As you may have seen in the image when we started the stream, we got 32 spots to fill, 24 factions. Everybody needs a rep, and then to make an even bracket of 32 for the Faction War, I have 8 optional slots where people just pick whatever faction they want. As long as we don't get triple of the same faction, it will be fine. Whoever gets the furthest in this tournament gets a spot, which is good. Yes, and we'll deal with some of that later. I'm playing as the Skaven. Am I opposed? Are there any other Skaven players today? Nice. The 3 players that might have picked Skaven didn't. All right, I auto-qualify for the Faction War because I'm a fucking legend. But let's try and get as far as we can anyway. Okay, Kislev round 1, huh? Kislev. What should I take versus the Kislev? It's actually a little tricky. All right, 1 second. Grace needs my help. All right, sorry. Our puppy got a bath today, and she was on furniture she wasn't supposed to be on. What up, Black Knight? How you doing? Milky Way's on Skaven? No, he's not. Hold on. No. Damn it, he is. I had to scroll down. Oh, God, there's competition. Okay, no, I do have to win. I was going to troll. Not true. I was going to play serious, but now I have to win. All right, cool. All right, enough screwing around. Not Torreson. Pasha's been waiting for me forever. So we gotta hurry this up. Ikit Claw is so expensive. What? That's too expensive. Can't do it. You just can't do it. I mean... whatever. That's fine. I figured it out. I have solved the problems. So we know he's going to sprint at me with Cav, right? We just know he's going to sprint at me with Suicidal Cav. It's fine. So we need to prep for that. God, people need to stop messaging me. And I also need to finish my build. Holy shit. Okay, there's that. And this should deal with the cav problem. Bring Queek, he's cheap. You're cheap. Hey, Coops. Hope you're doing well. Hope you are doing well. Coops, my friend. My buddy. My compatriot. So, what do we have? Those are for chariots. Those are for cav. I have actually pretty piss infantry clearing in case he brings infantry. What about Little Grom? These are questions. Questions that need answering. But how? And by who? And where will I put my chevrons? There. There are the chevrons that I desire. All right, let's fucking do this. Send it. Pasha's waited long enough for my dumbass. All right, this is a factional qualifier. It is a sweaty tryhard tournament. I'm taking a sweaty tryhard build. I'm out of practice. I'm washed, horribly out of shape. Been playing a little bit recently to try and get my micro back up, but I'm fucking garbage. But that doesn't mean that this build isn't me trying my best, so I am. Sadly, I have to go to work soon. Oh, on a Sunday? I'm sorry, dude. What clan paid you to put all 3 XMTs in this tournament into the same bracket? What? Oh, crap. Phoenix King, Rider of Rohan, both XMT. You don't have your clan tag on challenge, so I just breezed past it. I'm sorry. I had Wood Elf problems. Wood Elves got matched by the shuffle into Tomb Kings, which is a cursed matchup. Vampire Coast, which is a cursed matchup. And then one easy swap I could do would just swap them from Tomb Kings into another Vampire Coast. So yeah, I was doing some hot potato with trying not to give Wood Elves either a cursed bad matchup or a cursed good matchup. Because as far as I know, Coast is pretty free for Wood Elves, but then Tomb Kings is quite difficult due to their abundance of incredibly cheap cavalry with shields, cheap-ish infantry with shields, counter-firing, big single entities, yeah. Yeah. Guess I'm just trash. All right, I am ready. Pasha is ready. Let us take the blocker down now. He gets Wood Elves or Empire. Vampire Coast is pretty good into all factions. Every faction. There's no bad matchups with Vampire Coast. Codex is going to be fine. Codex is going to be great. Codex is going to win. All right, so I brought a pretty safe Skaven build into Kislev as far as I'm aware. His model count is actually pretty high, which is a little concerning. I think the weakest part of this build is mass infantry clearing. I have some tools for it, but not like the best and most tools. Clan Rat frontline, pretty basic. Just gonna hold the line for a while. We do have a random Skaven slave because I had extra money and an extra slot. Icket Claw is on his Doom Flayer. His Doom Wheel is pretty damn expensive, and on foot he's a little squishy, so I went with Doom Flayer to try and have the best of both worlds. Brought Brass Orb and then Flensing Ruin. Flensing Ruin to kill chariots or Frostworm mounted lords, and Brass Orb / Storm Demon to kill infantry if I get some good side shots. Other than that, I know there's going to be a crap ton of cavalry trying to suicide sprint for my ranged units, so all my ranged units besides the Giselles are hybrid. Night Runners can do decent against Kislev cavalry and throw shurikens. They also have Gutter Runners that I'm going to put out here because they have stalks, so they might catch some cavalry unawares that are trying to catch the Night Runners. 2 dogs, 4 rat ogres, again for peeling that Kislev cavalry. Dogs can make pretty quick work of Kosovo dervishes if the rat ogres eat the charge and then the dogs get to countercharge in. They do have a Giselle. Good at killing infantry, good at killing elite archers if I need to, good at poking down Little Grom because they're stalked and sniped, so he can't see them to snipe them out early. decent pressure, so I just needed some sort of range so I'm not crazy kited. It is Conquest, so I could take the point and just eat the kite, but it's nice to have a little bit of counter-firing and not be completely at his mercy, right? That's the idea behind the build. Doesn't work out, it doesn't work out, but I crafted it with love and care, so sometimes it just happens. But yeah, as you can see, the only thing I'd struggle with is an abundance of infantry could be a little difficult. I should be able to deal with them if my micro is really good, like cycle charging rat ogres, Giselle kite, Ikit stuff, but I don't know. I don't tend to play perfectly, so I could see it just getting ground out. Looks like he wants to sit on the hill with a little Grom. Is not shocking, meaning I'm gonna keep Ikit and the rat ogres back. Because all these units are fast enough to catch up with my formation when I need to, but I just kind of want to leave him with not ideal targets. You can see he was trying to shoot the rat ogres, but he can't see the Giselles. So he doesn't know he's shooting at them. So I'm just going to take the point and back off everything Little Grom wants to shoot at until he moves up, and then I can move up at the same time. Because now Little Grom just has to shoot at Night Runners. Ooh, Night Runners. Oh, scary. You know? Not a big deal. Alright, Little Grom's gonna piss ammunition. I honestly might shoot at Kislevite warriors. I don't know, I'm thinking this through. Because if Little Grom's just gonna piss his ammo on nothing, because I'm backing off, I don't know if I'll kill him, so I'll just force him to back away. But since he's trying to shoot over me at the rat ogres, he's disrespecting that the Giselles could be there, so I'm at least gonna punish him a little bit, if only to get him to back off my rat ogres. While I do my best to dodge. Yeah. So we're gonna poke him, and yeah, now he's pulling back. So now that he's pulling back, I don't actually think I can kill Little Grom, so I don't want to waste my time shooting at him when I don't think I can finish the job. So my Giselles are just now gonna pivot. We'll poke at random things, trying to force an engagement, but as long as he can't see me, I'm fine. I've captured the point. So now that I've captured the point, I'm gonna rotate my front line to be a little more appropriate to what's actually going on. And now I'm gonna pull my Giselles back so they don't get caught up in archers or something. You know, I just don't want them to get spotted because their defenses against Little Grom is not being seen ever. Okay, front line's coming, so now I'm gonna advance because the shooting is about to start. Meaning, Little Grom's gonna start shooting at rat ogres and shit, like, sure, but you can't do nothing, right? You can't just sit back, so. All right, we're gonna see who's paying attention. All right, Giselles are spotted. I need to back up, otherwise Little Grom's gonna shoot him, and I don't want that. Get some Winds of Magic going. I'm gonna pull up my Skaven slaves because he has a crap ton of archers. All right, so Giselles fall back. I'm gonna see if I can take pot shots at the Lord. Those dervishes? No, they're wing lancers. All right, then that'll need a rat ogre. Skirmishers on this end. Go harass those skirmish calves so I don't have to deal with them, but we're gonna get aggressive with our rat ogres. We'll leave our Giselles. We'll leave our Giselles back here. Shooting at the Lord Lady. That's a juicy blob to hit with a brass orb. I'm also wanting to leave my second dog back here to offer a little bit of support if the skirmish cav go into melee. Nice Hawks of Mishka from my opponent, though. I mean, it's just good spell versus Skaven. Our leadership is bad. Okay, so this is why I kept the dogs in reserve, is now we can run up and deal with these dervishes. Like, I don't really want to take a charge with the dogs, but I doubted his attack orders were on the dogs. I thought it was probably on the Giselles behind the dogs, which it did turn out to be. He's keeping his Lord crazy far away from the fight, which is not unexpected. But our Giselles are in trouble. I'm going to keep running with them and just try and delay the inevitable. But this is the hard part about fighting Kislev, is their cav just goes unbreakable, and then you have a really hard time getting any damage out. Because I can't peel them, right? These guys would have routed long ago, but they're just refusing to. Alright, gonna see if I can catch the Lord napping. Why is my leadership so bad? I mean, I know it's bad, but Jesus, it's really fucking bad. Like, I have Rat Ogres routing at full health right now without Hawks of Mishka even being involved. That's crazy. Oh, fuck. Is it Glorious Charge? God, I hate this matchup. If Wing Lancers hit any of my guys, I get a leadership debuff as if I'm getting hit in the back, and that's pretty bad. All right, he's just keeping his Lord away from mine, so yeah, it's rough. This is a pretty rough matchup. Your leadership just tanks out because of Glorious Charge, and they have really good anti-leadership spells, as you can see. So, yeah, Pasha played well, but I just kind of honestly forgot how cursed this matchup is. Fuck. What up, Catholic Alcoholic? Hey, Pope Daddy, how you doing? Yeah, it's pretty GG, though. In the backline, I had Wolf Rats and Rat Ogres killing Kosovo Dervishes, winning in melee combat, and still routing at 2/3 to 3/4 HP. That's fucking brutal. Oh, I hate fighting Kislev and Skaven. I forgot. All the months of inactivity made me forget that unbreakable leadership bombing cavalry is a bit of a fucking problem. What a bullshit faction for Skaven to deal with. Oh well, it is what it is. Night Runners did their jobs. Gutter Runners struggled a little more than I would have thought, but they ended up just having to fight basic infantry. They didn't get to fight Cav as much as I wanted. When they got to fight Cav, they did pretty well, but they didn't get to do much. Our value overall was just so bad, but like, I don't know. It felt like we were getting good engagements, and then just everyone would break even though they were winning. It's messed up. It's messed up. I just want to see what was going on with the leadership. It sucks. Those are frustrating losses because I feel like I played well, and then you just lose anyway, and you're like, oh, fuck. I wish I had, like... When you lose, it's easier to deal with when you, like, make a big mistake, and you're like, oh, I shouldn't have done that, and I lost. This, it's like, oh, I was playing well, and then just everything went to shit somehow. So Wing Lancers charge my Gutter Runners, and they get bogged down for a while. Dogs countercharge, Rat Ogres countercharge. That went largely to plan. We peeled them. Hawks peels off some stuff, but infantry are just closing in. Yeah, it's funny. Literally, the thing I said though at the start of the game, I'm like, this build's pretty good unless he spams infantry, and he spammed so many fucking infantry. So that's a little bit unlucky in the build diff department. But then this is where things got a little weird. This is just standard Kislev stuff. These dervishes, you literally can't peel them because they're going to go unbreakable. But what happened to my leadership back here? Like, why is this dog routing? Friends routing. Okay, that's true. Attacked by artillery. Damage sustained. Under missile fire. Okay, so the little Grom shots coming in occasionally are fucking with them. That's not good. And then the Rat Ogre's also routing. Unit losing in melee combat? Like hell you are. Losing currently against fucking what? Your body and Kosovo Dervishes. Nah, you aren't getting the losing currently debuff. Friends routing -12, damage by artillery -10. Those make sense, but I don't know why he thinks he's losing. He's currently slapping Kosovo Dervishes. So yeah, that was brutal. Just losing my Rat Ogres in the backline for literally no reason is rough, and then the front line is falling apart. Damn. Damn. Will there be another faction war qualifier? I don't believe so. It's over. Milky Way picks Skaven and won. That a boy. Nice job, Milky Way. Proud of you. Proud of you. I apparently gave myself a cursed matchup in round 1 because I forgot how bad Kislev is. Blech. 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 All right, let's see. Anyone around to stream? I'm gonna ping some people that might not be in game yet. I think Persian and I don't have the best connection, so I don't know if I want to add a third person to his game. All right, we got a game. Torsten's Hiles versus Greenskins. I will be joining as a spectator. In the moment. No, 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 not the replays folder. Idiot. Stupid. I'm out of practice because I've been doing too much replay casting. All right, block her up, not to spoil anybody's build. And we will spectate. People are messaging me. Can I also qualify through beating you in Mortal Kombat? Oh, easy. If I'm dead, no one's there to stop you from joining the faction war. So take that. You went 0-1 with vampire counts, so you're in? If you're the only vampire count, then hell yeah, dude. Path to power, vampire count. I don't see any other vampire counts. Yeah. That's what you get for playing an uncontested faction, my guy. Oi! Oi! All right, we're here with Greenskin Elves. They're building. I'm still salty. I'll never be unsaltified. Stupid fucking Kislev with their stupid unbreakable cavalry. I'm sad. It's funny here. Okay. I'm not trying to cope. This is just a funny thought, though. I'm not trying to cope. I lost fair and square. Shit happens. All right. This isn't cope. But what's funny is I literally thought about taking the avalanche mortars as my pressure piece instead of the Giselles. But then I was like, no, that's stupid, because most Kislev players just go like 8 cav, 2 chariots, a frostworm lord, and then like maybe 3 Kossars if they have money. But like normally it's just cav and chariot spam. So your avalanche mortar will have nothing to shoot at before it gets overrun. And then I enter a game, he has like 10 infantry and he's playing passive. So I'm like, not only would they have gotten time to shoot, they had a ton to shoot at. It's just funny. Now, I don't think taking the avalanche mortars would change that game because of how he played, where he was backing off with Little Grom to kite for a bit and let me take the point while he sniped out important targets. But that's why I took Natty Boobos, is I was like, hey, Little Grom can't see them. So that part worked. It's just funny that I literally thought before going into it, I would take the avalanche mortars, but he's not going to bring any infantry. Bam! 10 infantry. Fucking got him. That's funny. You know what would have been good there, actually, is Doomflayers. Doomflayers are good against the Kislev Cav, and they're good against infantry. They're pretty weak to Little Grom, though, so I would have had to play careful, but I was playing careful anyway with the Rat Ogres, so might as well get some Doomflayers. Yeah. But what would I cut them for? I liked the Giselles. The Giselles were important. It might be Ikit. Ikit might be too fucking expensive. You might have to go, like, Skrulk or Gracier is a little cheaper. I think he's like 300 gold cheaper. I don't know. Downgrade my front line, but the front line was kind of important. I mean, the Clan Rats weren't winning, but they held for a while. The problem was how many Kislevites there were. It wasn't that the Clan Rats broke. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's cursed. Maybe I'm trash. Who knows? Duck Shark, you and Ash both went 0-1 corn. duck shark. How dare you? I'll deal with it. I'll deal with it soon. Duck. Duck, gray duck. What you can do is find Ash and 1v1 him a Corn mirror match on Pillar Above. And that'll determine who gets the spot. And then message me the result. I'll deal with it after. I'll talk to you more after the stream. So I'll be a little distracted. But yes, you and Ash, 1v1 Corn, figure out who gets the spot. Pillar of bone. And since you're both Corn, I think a small map is pretty appropriate. Hey, Prime showing up after the delay to yell at me. What up? What up, dude? Okay, so what do we got? Goblins for Curio. Hammer of Gork and Snagla's Death Thrower. The Goblin Bolt Thrower ROR. I see that it has poison. I literally don't know what else is special about this thing. Okay. Orc Boarboy Biggins, Broken Tusk Mobs, Savage Orc Boarboys, Orc Arbor Boys, Ruglan's Armored Orcs, a Goblin Great Shaman with Sneaky Stabbin' and Vindictive Glare, and then a Night Goblin Big Boss with his Squig Summon. Interesting. What up, Himeneo? Any chance you are known as the player D-Niper? Because your profile picture is somewhat similar, so I'm confused. On the other side for High Elves, we have one Ranger in the trees. Sneaky, but not sneaky from the God vision of Spectator mode. Then 2 Spearmen, a Ship's Company, 2 Silverin Guard, 2 more Spearmen in the back. And it is an unholy water blob with Oceanids and a Sea Elemental buffed up by Alarielle the Radiant, providing immune to psychology and magic attacks for her, I guess, random troops, because Oceanids already have it, I believe. But mostly more physical resistance and then healing. So it's a healing Oceanid blob from the High Elves. The Greenskins, I don't know if they have much magic damage to really counter that. Archers will still do okay over time if they just get time to sit and shoot. But yeah. I maintain that the High Elf DLC was pretty underwhelming because the cool units kind of sucked and there was a lot of toxic units that don't suck. Oceanids and the Sea Elemental aren't overpowered by any means, and the Northern Skycutters also aren't overpowered by any means. But I don't think they're, like, good for the game. I don't think they were a smart thing to add to the game as far as, like, fun goes. Because now you have these perfect vigor, insanely tanky monstrosities on a roster that's also strangely good at heal blobbing, so they will get a lot of support. Anyway, it's Snagla's Death Throwers and Archers teeing off on the Elementals where they can. Meanwhile, Alarielle is getting poked down by Vindictive Glare, so she is on a timer. The High Elves clearly wanted to take the point and then vibe there with healing, but there's a lot of extra shooting they weren't counting on, so now they're getting poked out. There are cool units in the DLC. Ship's Company's pretty cool. Sea Lord Aislin's cool. Yeah, I'm trying to think what else was in the DLC. Oceanid, Sea Elemental, Skycutters, not a huge fan of those. Yeah, I like the Ship's Company. I like the Sea Lord, he's cool. Caradrian's neat. Yeah, Caradrian's neat. Came around on Caradrian. Orc Boarboy Biggins charging into Oceanids. They have anti-large, which will help, but again, the Oceanids have pretty insane melee defense and physical resist stats, which is going to be very difficult for the Greenskins to deal with. Without Wah or Here We Go or Fists of Gork, they're gonna have a hard time, which is kind of interesting you didn't take an Orc Caster as Curio here. Orc Casters are by far the most common for the Greenskins these days, and this is a matchup where you definitely need that magic damage and the extra melee attack. Here's the first Wah that will help a little bit as Snagla's Death Thrower is turning, but the Sneaky Rangers! Sneaky Rangers in, charging in behind Snagla's Death Thrower, trying to kill those little goblins, but the Orc Boarboys peel masterfully. Only a couple Rangers get through to kill these poor little goblins on their mounts, but most of them are actually fine and still shooting away at the Oceanids. Now, all my criticisms of not taking the Orc spells aside, the Greenskins seem to be doing pretty well. They're up on the balance of power, they're very far up on the damage value, but with this specific High Elf build, you need to get ahead, you need to get really ahead, and then kill off some units because there is a lot of healing and grinding that these Ocean units can do, so you do not want this game to go long at all if you're the Greenskin player. The High Elves did eventually break through the front line and shut down Snagla's Death Thrower, which is problematic, and I'm starting to see a lot of red flags for the Greenskins in the form of white flags, funny enough, but red flags being like, I don't know if this is going to go their way. Spearmen overrunning the Hammer of Gork. Still have some Rugland's Armored Orcs firing. Second and final Wa is out. We'll see what the Greenskins get done with it. We have a Squig Herd trying to offer a little bit of support. Broken Tusk Mob also, but they are fighting on top of 2 units of spears. And I'm scared. I'm scared for the Greenskins, friends. Rugland's Armored Orcs trying to hold against Oceanids, but that's a full health Oceanid running into them. And you might have pseudo-hybrid stats on that Archer, but, I mean, Oceanids are all melee murdering, so I don't really care. Night Goblin Big Boss sneakily takes the point, which is important. Again, if this game goes long, there's going to be a lot of healing, and it could potentially come down to the capture point if things get really stretched out. As the Oceanids on the far side get hit with a spread out Vindictive Glare, does a lot of damage. Rangers flanking Rugland's Armored Orcs, though the balance of power is starting to tip in the High Elves' favor, and I would agree. Torreson is closing the gold damage value gap. It's still 2,000 in the favor of the Greenskins, but High Elves have rejuvenation capabilities. That means you're going to have to do a lot more work. As that spider just bit a wave, and the wave moved away. I'm frankly shocked that the fucking pile of water just moved away when you bit it. All right, Greenskins getting a bit of a second wind on the back line wherever they are rallying. They're charging back into the fight. Huge healing here for Alariel and the High Elves, all blobbed up on the Goblin Great Shaman. Not doing a lot of damage to him, but they are working him down slowly over time. And of course, they are just using this opportunity to heal right back up as the Greenskins try and pick off anything that's not a part of this blob. I don't know if the Goblin Great Shaman is trying to leave or if he's just strangely okay with this predicament, but he is not having a good day, so he should probably try and go. Healing Cap has appeared on the Elemental, but he still has a little bit to go as the Greenskins charge down some random units. Crown of Command keeping the Goblin Great Shaman in it. Alariel is getting a little low on HP. Down to half health on foot is not a lot of HP. If the Greenskins can kill her, that shuts down the healing and it lowers the leadership of the Oceanids to make them a little more demonic instability crumbling-able. I mean, it's something. It's desperate. The Greenskins are behind. Don't get me wrong. They're really struggling. Sea Elemental's doing its best to peel for Alariel as the spider tries to get more hits on her, but it gets distracted by the giant tower of water. Greenskins' balance of power is getting really bad. Their units are just tritioning out too much. Goblin Great Shaman's going to rout, and that's probably game at that point. I don't see the Oceanids letting the spider come back, and without him, you know, you don't have anti-large, you don't have magic, you don't have leadership, none of that. So Greenskins are probably doomed. Chosen of Assyrian, I definitely agree. I think the High Elf DLC was very underwhelming. I think their campaign got a lot of cool buffs, but the actual DLC units were not great at all. Was planning on getting into multiplayer after you're done moving? Well, we're always happy to have you whenever you feel like popping in. For the Greenskins, it was a great start, and then it just petered out as the Oceanids kept grinding away. Artillery did fine. Boar Boys did their best, but the armor piercing is largely wasted against Oceanids, which you got to bring some in case of Silver Helms and Dragon Princes. I get that, but the Oceanids are such a problem for certain factions that don't have an abundance of melee magic damage. GG's. Torreson advances. He is in quarterfinals. We have some people in the quarterfinals, which is what I'm going to be mostly casting. We're just filling time while I was playing in the tournament and then casting random games to just get us the quarterfinals. But from the quarterfinals, we will be casting all of them. So you can see we have Torreson up here. Charix on the Wood Elves. Ride of Rohan on the Wood Elves. Already in quarters. And I'm getting word that we might have a quarterfinal ready. Sipa is talking to me, but I don't see Sipa as having an opponent. So what's that about? All right, Pigment. Okay, so the bracket just wasn't updated. All right, so we'll hop right in with our first quarterfinal. Torsen versus Sipa, High Elves and Tzeentch. Neat. Cool. Let's get a lobby. Let's get into it. Milky Way on the... Whoa!
Milky Way.
We'll get over here.
Oh.
We'll get over here.
Oh.
Jesus. All right, I was going to say Milky Way got to quarterfinals with the Skaven.
Woo!
Woo!
Yeah!
Yeah! Fuck yeah! Yeah!
Oh, hey, oh!
Do you want to explain to everyone what game you've been playing recently?
Dredge?
Dredge.
Dredge.
You gotta get closer to the mic, though.
Okay.
There's a dog. There's a dog. Ah!
Happy.
Oh, God!
Happy, get down.
All right, Grace is gonna tell you about Dredge while I get into the lobby with the players.
Okay, all right. If anyone has played Dredge, say so in the comments, but super dope game. How do you explain it? You're like a fisherman sailing the seas, fishing things, and upgrading your boat. But then there's also like some creepy like sea monsters and weird things, and it's kind of a mystery. And I don't want to like explain that part because obviously that would ruin the game. But oh, someone said Dredge is great. Finish all the DLCs. Okay, I haven't done any DLCs, and I don't know if I'm going to. But it's kind of interesting because it has a good mix of like it's spooky and kind of creepy, but not that creepy. So like I'm not someone who likes scary games. I'm not a horror game person. I don't like to be freaked out, and I could tolerate it. So it's spooky but not too spooky, but it's also kind of cozy at the same time. It's got kind of a cozy vibe. I don't know, would you say that?
I'd say it's Dredge.
It's Dredge.
Yeah, but Grace also plays it a little different than I was.
Yeah, that's true.
She showed me the game, so I'm not trying to say I played it. That sounded like I was an aficionado on it. She finished it. I haven't finished it yet.
I found the game.
You did great.
I did great.
You did great. But I've been going crazy on the high seas and fighting all sorts of Cthulhu monsters, and Grace just goes to bed at night.
Yeah, there's like a mechanic that makes you kind of start going insane, and things happen when that happens, and I tried to avoid that as much as possible. I tried to keep myself level-headed so I could steer my ship to the fish, but Austin just I guess you're human boy on the stream.
I know.
Goes rogue and fishes in the dark and goes insane, and all this like crazy shit happens and stuff that I was like, I never saw that in the game because I was like too afraid to go crazy because I get spooked easily. So yeah. It's so you can kind of play it however you want. Like if you want to try to stay sane, if you want to like be a little crazy, a little spooky, do that. And what did someone, let's see, 4 things watch. Scenery, yes, it is just like the like graphics and stuff are just kind of cozy, and it's just like spooky cozy. Yeah.
For anyone who's like, what the hell is going on? I am in the lobby. The players are just making their builds, so Grace is helping us fill some time.
Is it Cthulhu Lovecraftian? I don't really know much about Lovecraft, but like it has, I think it's like that, right?
Yeah.
You would know more than I would. Okay.
Yeah, it is. It's very Lovecraftian.
Yeah, it's got some like creepy, like there's some fish that are like mutated and weird, but you don't really know why, and like there's some big monsters that are kind of Cthulhu-y, and yeah, so I've been ripping through the waves with my shirt off, screaming at the lightning and going crazy.
I go out at night sometimes specifically just to like look for interesting things or catch
like
night
a pirate
fish.
ship that you never found.
I'm still looking. We saw a pirate ship in the distance, but I had a ton of important cargo, so I tried to sell it quick and come back, but the pirate ship was gone. And now every night I look out at the sea and wonder.
Giving me motion sickness with how much you're like whipping your camera around looking for your ship.
You got to keep your eyes open. You got to keep your wits about you. There's a lot of danger.
Yeah.
I got one tapped by the fucking Kraken.
Yeah, you did.
I was like, do you think this guy will attack? And then he did.
The story is great too. It is. Yeah, I just finished it last night, so I know where it ends. And obviously, Human Boy has not finished it, so he's still... You're probably like A little under halfway.
Well, under halfway.
Yeah. So, would recommend. It's very highly rated on Steam.
Wedge.
A good little game. Indie developer, I think, too. So, love supporting that.
Yeah. It was fun. It was a good game.
It was fun. Clean.
Your car is clean.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
On the inside and out.
That's really nice.
Yeah. Been putting that off.
It's like my soul.
Soul is clean?
On the inside and out.
I don't know about that.
Okay.
Okay. How's the stream? How's the tournament?
Stream's rough. Tournament's rough.
Oh no. How's Hazel? Was she bothering you?
No, she's been great.
Oh, she probably. Okay, no. There.
Chat's just been a fucking nightmare.
Classic chat.
Classic chat. No, times have been slow. We're waiting for DLCs and hype and wonder.
What do you mean?
Like, the game doesn't have a ton of people playing right now.
Oh, that's what's slow. I thought you meant like waiting for people to pick their things.
No, we're just, as a community, we're just waiting for
Just vibing.
DLC.
Well, while you wait, go play Dredge.
I'm streaming right now.
I meant that as
everyone go the whole server go play Dredge. Yeah.
Fuck Warhammer. Play Dredge.
Dredge multiplayer.
Probably gonna start my new.
What new game? Which one?
Well, in my library, I have Kinseed.
Oh yeah, you showed me that one.
I don't really know much about it, but we'll give that one a try. I think that one also is pretty rated.
Do you see on the screen how Sipa has a green check mark next to him and Torsen doesn't?
Yeah. Sipa's ready.
Yeah, that's why we hate Torsen. That's
God, right. Get it together.
Ready up, Jesus!
So it's still fine that I'm helping you stall. You're not like.
When this screen goes black and then shifts, then you gotta get the hell out of here.
Get the hell out of here!
Get out of here!
Get him out!
Why do I have bacteria in my belly? I don't like it.
You put it there, I guess.
Maybe. Could come from the food poisoning. I gotta start another round of antibiotics soon. I'm not excited for that. But, well, I'm excited to feel better. I'm not excited to be on the antibiotics. So, I'm also not excited to weed our yard.
Well, we're not going to be able to do that today. It's going to rain.
Ozone and then rain.
Yeah. I think it's going to storm like this afternoon.
But why don't we just leave the weeds there?
Because it looks bad.
But they're happy.
Screen's black. Okay.
Screen's black. Go!
Fine.
Get the hell out of here!
Good luck to both people. I hope one of you wins.
Man, I hope one of them wins.
You want this close?
I
don't want to hear you shout.
All right, goodbye. All right, we got Zinch High Elves. We have Sky Cutters, another DLC unit that I think is a little underpowered, but it's not a unit I want to be good. Sky Cutters are not a well thought out game mechanic. I am glad that most of the time they're trash. If you micro them well and play with them well, they could be like fine, but I wouldn't consider them overall like a good unit. Like most people should take Sky Cutters in a lot of matchups. It's like, no, they're only good in a couple matchups and they're only good if you play it well. So I think that's fine. Flying skirmish chariots are not something I ever want to be good. Ever. All right. For the builds we're getting set up here, we have archers with light armor, more archers with light armor, some spearmen, some white lines of Krace, ship's company. So this is a lot of infantry from the High Elves. For the mobility, we have some Illyrian Reavers, very cheap, 2 Lothran Sky Cutters, which are not cheap at all, they're very expensive, and then a Lariel with Tempest and Earthblood. So it looks like to counter maybe Changebringers. With Tempest, you could slow them down, let the Lothran Sky Cutters catch up to them, or let the archers pincushion them. So could be some anti-air tech there. On the side of Sipa, it is a Zinch Rush. Forsaken Frontline backed up by 4 Chaos Spawn, which do have armor sundering. A lot of people forget that because they were quite popular at the start of Warhammer 3, but since then have fallen off. We have a Burning Head caster with Wand of Whimsy. So every time he casts Burning Head, his whole army gets melee attack. Let's hope he casts a lot of Burning Heads then. He has the Book of Secrets, which somehow almost always gets Fate of Buna. I don't know how, but it is a risky book. Then a Cast Lord of Zinch, just butt naked on a horse, decent melee stats, and 1 blue horror. Maybe he had the extra money for the blue horror. Maybe he wants it for fire damage in case something gets healing. I don't know. If he just pisses his ammo right away, then he wasn't bringing it to stop the healing. But if he plays conservatively with it, it could be like a sneaky tech pick. As a Fate of Buna was attempted on the Company of Caladrian, and they get a Book of Secrets instead, which is, the fire version of the Book of Secrets instead, which is literally worthless. So 0 for 1 on the RNG simulator for Tzeentch. Meanwhile, Illyrian Reavers are trying to get some free charges, but Forsaken's barriers are going to eat most of the damage, and then their counter hitting is going to be brutal. So the Illyrian Reavers just sacrificing their lives for Torsen, but I think he's seeing that there's literally nothing for him to peel in the backline, and Forsaken and Spawn are not going to route easily, so he didn't have much for his Illyrian Reavers to do, so instead he threw them ahead as one more piece of the front line to give the archers more time to fire. Looks like the archers are mostly trying to shoot at the Chaos Spawn. Low armor, tall targets, easy to hit, unshielded, but Sipa's Forsaken Rush is crushing through the front line right now. Even the ship's company are starting to buckle. Company of Caladrian are on their way out as well. I think I saw a Burning Head go through them, but yes, they definitely died very quickly. The Lothran Skycutters are doing their best to shoot in the background, and Alarielle has sniped out the Burning Head caster behind my screen while I was looking at the rest of the army. So Tzeentch is without a caster, which is quite bad. They don't get the rest of their army passive. They don't get any army passive from their lord or anything like that. It has to be the caster, which is brutal. But I still think Tzeentch is doing very well, even with their caster getting sniped out. No army passive. I mean, they're brutalizing the front line, pushing through quite quickly. The archers are already in trouble for Torsen and starting to fall back. A little bit of healing here for the High Elves. Maybe the High Elves can heal this out in the end game, but Lothran Skycutters only have so much ammunition. They can't kill everything from the skies, so they will have to get down and dirty. And if you still have Chaos Spawn left in the late game, that's some mass they can't push through, so they'll get punished. Alarielle's throwing out some more healing, trying to keep any infantry she still has fighting for now, but the Chaos Spawn Forsaken combo is quite brutal. That armor sundering is nice for something with such high weapon strength, but not a lot of armor piercing. A little bit, but not a lot. So armor sundering makes them much more vulnerable. Other Forsaken hitting archers. The archers just threw guard mode on, and they're doing their best to kill Spawn on their way out. They know they can't run away from the Forsaken as the Illyrian Reavers try and peel. Balance of power is tipping in Tzeentch's favor. Damage value is quite even. The Illyrian Reavers jump back in, but once again, the Chaos Spawn are just massive here. Unbreakable, so the rear charging doesn't scare them at all. Their mass makes it difficult for the Lothran Skycutters or the Illyrian Reavers to back off clean. They're just getting beaten up. Isle front line still in disarray. We have some archers who have rallied on the far side, almost done killing the weird Spawn, who are currently fighting the Company of Caladrian, whatever. You know what they are. They're there. The ROR Ships Company, guys. Lothran Skycutters trying to cycle charge through the blue horrors, but they get immediately attacked by Chaos Spawn. The Eagle's not having a great time with those weird crab monsters poking at them on the ground, so they do have to get back into the sky soon. These other ones are trying to rout off the Forsaken, but Forsaken are hardy folk. High Elves starting to shatter. The Illyrian Reavers have charged back in one too many times. We do have a secondary line of archers that have managed to rally and then just sit and fire. The weird Spawn very close to being gone. I know I said that before, but now for real, they're almost dead. Exalted Hero is full HP, but we saw Alarielle snipe out the cultist. Maybe she, with cycle charging, she could also take care of that Exalted Hero. Maybe. And the front line of Tzeentch is starting to wane slowly. Their momentum is breaking as they got through all the easy High Elf targets, and now they're stuck chasing routing units, which don't die nearly as quickly. And the High Elves are spamming out heals. Once again, I'm worried about the longevity of the High Elves in this game with the Lothran Skycutters. Ammunition running a little low. When they do have to just dedicate to melee, it can be brutal. Ooh, and another big problem for the High Elves is if Tzeentch is able to fully route all their guys, and they just have two Lothran Skycutters and a Alarielle, they have literally 0 capture weight, and Tzeentch could just hold the point. Tzeentch now does seem to be congregating back towards the point to capture it. I'm betting they wish they had captured it on the advance, but shit happens, I guess. So they're going to start getting that timer ticking as the Lothran Skycutters and some archers rally. The big problem is going to be the archers. The archers that are rallying are taking a long time to get dispersed, and they are getting some decent damage back out. Lothran Skycutters, 3 volleys and 4 volleys left as they shoot at the Chaos Spawn. Once again, they want to get rid of any mass that could stop them from freely cycle charging. I think the Lord is going to be a problem, though. The Chaos Lord of Tzeentch, the Exalted Hero of Tzeentch are both very healthy and strong combatants, and I don't think Alarielle and 2 Lothern Skycutters in melee can kill those powerful single entities, so I think Torreson is still in deep shit. We'll see, but I think he's going to be in trouble. Maybe his best way to win at this point is army losses, like kill and rout off everything besides the 2 single entities, and then somehow do enough damage through cycle charging to army loss them before you actually have to just fight them to the death. We'll see. Torreson's focusing some heals on his spearmen, or those Silvern Guard. Yeah, spearmen. Wants some form of ground presence in the late game. You can see he's not committing the spearmen to the fight just yet, because it doesn't matter just yet. You can't take all these Forsaken. You need to just hit them with archers. You need to just hit them with the Lothern Skycutters. Blue Horror is starting to counterfire the Lothern Skycutters, but it's not that much damage. They're just walking away. We do have some Forsaken sneaking out of the trees. We're going to charge a Spearman, but the Spearman shattered. Now they're like, oh shit, now run to the trees! Get away! As the Lothern Skycutters and some Lyran Reavers dive down, they will pick off those Forsaken. I said I was serious earlier when the weird spawn were gonna die, but here they are with 84 HP and 1 model. And Tzeentch is forced to just sit on the point, take the arrow fire. And the Hives want to stall. They want to heal up the units that they still have. They want to use all their ammunition before having to engage. The White Lions of Krace are running away from the single weird spawn. Dun, 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. We'll come back to that in a second. Ooh, it looks like the Eagles might be coming. The Eagles, Gandalf! The Eagles are coming to kill the singular weird spawn! Oh god! Oh! Ooh! He's down. He's down. Tzeentch can still drop an army ability on their own head. No, because they don't have an army ability. They lost their caster like right away. The weird spawn are officially down and out for the count. Yeah, Tzeentch has no army abilities because their caster died right away. They got 1 burning head off, and then Alarielle sniped him out. Exalted Hero is trying to rejoin the main force. These archers of the High Elves are down to their last volley of ammunition, however, so that free damage they've been getting out is coming to an end. There they go. They're just a dumbass melee infantry now. And for Tzeentch, how are we doing? Very wounded Forsaken. Very wounded Blue Horrors. 1 spawn with 11 models, but then these two very healthy single entities are going to be a big problem. Lariel's throwing out some healing, but it can only heal so much. The White Lions are heal capped, Ship's Company are heal capped, and the Spearmen, all of them are heal capped. Because each of their models that is alive has its full health amount, right? So he can't heal more than that. Lyran Reaver's trying to get in on the last of that healing, but I'm way too late. Hey, the Blue Horrors were holding back, and they immediately dropped some fire damage on the Lyran Reavers that were actually trying to heal. That's pretty smart. Torreson starting to dive in with the Lothern Skycutters. Immediately trying to heal them up as they get out of there. 1/3 of the way to the capture weight for Sipa. Yeah, he's really wishing he started that capture earlier now, because he would have been at 450 points at this juncture. Tzeentch goes aggressive. The High Elves try and throw archers on the point just to be a nuisance, but Tzeentch was tired of watching the High Elves slowly walk up to them, so they're just going to take the fight and get rid of these ground forces with their own initiative. Torreson goes in for a rear charge. The leadership of Tzeentch is faltering, but not done just yet. The Forsaken hanging on. Immune to psychology is a hell of a drug for them. Not that there's a lot of terror here, but still, you resist the fear of the Eagles. Larry and the Eagles doing their best to hold as Blue Horrors are starting to demonic instability crumble. I see some white flags, but so far it's still from the High Elves, not from Tzeentch, who are retreating. Ship's Company starting to shatter. Lyran Reaver's not shattered just yet, so they'll be back one more time. Still the Forsaken hold. We lost something. Something got wiped out, and it wasn't a chaos spawn, so... Oh, it was the Blue Horrors. Got it. Blue Horrors are gone. Now the Forsaken white flags start coming up, and nearby friendly units routing debuff is going to be a bit of a problem for Tzeentch, but healing is needed for the Lothern Skycutters. Still 4 out of 4 models on each of them. Tzeentch is ahead on the balance of power, ahead on the damage value, and ahead on capture points, but can they keep it up? against all the healing of the High Elves. Another Forsaken leaves the party. Looks like the final Forsaken is also about to rout, but there go the High Elves yet again. More white flags. And a lot of the Skycutters are starting to take serious damage. One is down to 3 models, which sounds aggressive. I mean, 3 models out of 4, but you get the point. It lost a model that can't be healed up or anything. The last Spearmen hold, and Tzeentch is really trying to get rid of them so that the Chaos Spawn don't get slowly poked out by those cheap little spears. Really want to force this just to be the Skycutters and Alarielle versus your single entities. Tzeentch is still in a pretty good position to win this game. It got a little suspect there, but I think the problem is becoming evident that the Exalted Hero and the Chaos Lord are just not gonna die. The High Elves don't have the oomph left to kill those powerful single entity duelists. As they retreat, leaving the Chaos Spawn to their fate, as the Skycutters and Alarielle come in for that. They charge back in, trying to get rid of the Spearmen, but at this point, the Spearmen have done their jobs. Even if the Chaos Spawn technically live while the Spearmen rout, I mean, we're down to 3 models and 400 HP. More healing is in for the High Elves, but Tzeentch is accomplishing their goals. There's no one left to capture this point. That Illyrian Reaver is super close to dead. No capture weight on it, pretty much. These Spearmen are going to get routed off. The Archers will get routed off. And as long as Tzeentch holds that point, they are going to win this game. Nurgle Forsaken have Fear, but no other Forsaken do? That's weird. The last Chaos Spawn is at 5 HP. As the Spearmen are holding for now. Bounce Power is still dead even. And the Spawn are gone. We're down to just the 2 Tzeentch single entities. We technically have a Forsaken, 25 models sitting in the trees. Sipa doesn't see any need to bring him out just yet. Another Forsaken model, 25 models. Another Forsaken with 25 models is off in the distance, could return soon. Meanwhile, the Tzeentch boys continuing to grind away. The Exalted Hero has lost his barriers and a little bit of HP, but it's nothing concerning. He is holding, and now they're going to run over and have this fight on the point so that they cannot be out-captured by these incredibly wounded units. Alarielle takes a nasty shot in the back of the head from the Chaos Lord. Meanwhile, a bunch of flapping wings get in between me and seeing what the hell is going on. As a lot of the Skycutters continue to cycle charge, Tzeentch maintains the point, and they're even regaining capture weight now. Their 2 healthy single entities are out capturing these incredibly tattered infantry and horse forces. Exalted Hero still taking damage, though. He's lost about 1/3 of his HP at this point. We still have Spearmen just bumping and grinding away. Alarielle dives back in. She is a lot of the damage potential as long as she can cycle charge. The Exalted Hero's down to half HP, and his leadership is becoming a problem. For a second there, he was at 9. Now he's back up to 33, but, I mean, it was looking rough. Love Skycutters continuing to cycle charge. How are we doing on models, boys? 3 and 3. Both have lost 1. Alarielle's back in, and once again, that leadership is flagging for the Exalted Hero of Tzeentch. He's down to 23, just below half HP, and the High Elves still have infantry grinding away. Still the Illyrian Reavers grinding away, and I wonder if these heroes should not be getting any attack orders. They should probably just fight whatever they happen to swing at, because damage is damage. I don't know if they should be prioritizing specific stuff. The Illyrian Reavers finally shatter, giving Tzeentch some breathing room, but the Exalted Hero is down to 1/3 HP-ish, and his leadership continues to be a problem. But a lot of the Skycutters are taking a lot of punishment in these cycle charges. One has lost another model. It's down to 2 out of 4. The other one's at 3 out of 4. Spearman continuing to poke away is probably a huge boon, though. 500 damage value. Insane, crazy damage value. Not really, but I mean, they're getting it done slowly. Exalted Hero still super close to routing. 75 seconds left on the clock for High Elves, though. They're running out of time. The Exalted Hero did rout. They took him out, which is honestly surprising, but can they kill the Chaos Lord in 65 seconds? They have a minute. They have a minute to kill this Chaos Lord or cause army losses or do anything. A lot of the Skycutters jumping in, archers and spearmen also trying to contribute in any way they can, but they just don't have the capture weight to push him off this point in any meaningful way and give themselves more time. Forsaken are running in the late game. Sipa was saving them, and now they're here to distract, and the Chaos Lord is actually going to abandon the point and try and get a quick 1v1 with Alarielle. He can get a lot of damage on her if he can fight. This is not the caster variant. This is the combat Lord of Tzeentch, who can do a lot of work, and he's getting good shots onto Alarielle. The Lothern Skycutter routes because the Exalted Hero of Tzeentch rallied in their face and hit them, and that is going to be GG, and a long, grindy one, but the High Elf Sky Forces, without any capture weight, cannot force Tzeentch off the point fast enough, and in 15 seconds, there is no way the High Elves capture this in time. I also haven't seen a lot of heals coming out of L'Oreal, so she might be mana gated at this point. We are 15 minutes into the game, so she's probably spammed out all the spells she even has. So there's no healing left for the high elves. I think even without a capture point, Tzeentch might win this one just because there's not a lot of damage for that Chaos Lord. What happened? There we go. Spawn of Tzeentch did their jobs. Not going to get crazy amounts of value. One did, but most of them were just there for mass and to support the Forsaken, who all did very well. Blue Horrors did well. Exalted Hero did great. The Cultist got 1,100 damage value on a single burning head, and the Chaos Lord got 2k from grinding through all that late game Eagle power. For the High Elves, their infantry did overall kind of okay, but not amazing. Archers did overall well. Illyrian Reavers did okay. And a lot of the Sky Cutters both just around paid for themselves. That's kind of what I've talked about that unit not being great, though, is they did all that, and like, I think they got 100 more value than they're worth after using all their ammo and cycle charging and heal capping. So, Sky Cutters in a bit of a rough place, but I don't know if a skirmish chariot should be powerful, so that's fine. All right, let's see if we've got any replays. One of the other quarterfinals is done between Rider of Rohan and Milky Way. Strevelet tied for Grand Cathay with somebody. Pigman, gotcha. All right, Strevelet and Pigman. Grand Cathay mirror on Ash Plains. There's that. I got a message Rider and Milky Way for my replay. Okay. For our quarterfinals, I won't show you the bracket because there are some spoilers between Rider of Rohan and Milky Way, but we have our other quarterfinalists: Lizardmen, Dark Elves, Wood Elves, and Kislev. The Kislev player that beat me did make it to quarterfinals. So good job, Pasha. Proud of you. And then we have Rider of Rohan versus Milky Way. They just sent me a replay, so let's hop on into that. The VP's tied too? Well, stupid, dumb, everybody tying on their factions. All right. What do we have here? This replay got kicked off like immediately, so I'll put on slow motion. For the Wood Elves, we have some Glade Riders, Wild Riders. Yeah, a lot of that. No melee infantry at all, because then we just have Glade Guard spam. All three variants represented here. We have a Waystalker with Arrows of Kurnos, and then a Spellweaver of Dark with Blade Wind. Okay, no melee infantry. On the other side, for the Skaven of Milky Way, 3 Doomflayers, a front line of Skaven slaves, backed up by Clan Rat Spears, backed up by Rat Ogres, and then those have Wolf Rats. So, no ranged, all melee and violence. Ikit Claw is Doomwheel, Flensing Rune, Warp Gale, and Warp Lightning. Brass Orb, and Unlimited Power. Neat. So the Wood Elves have no melee infantry to peel for their archers, relying entirely on cavalry to do it, as Milky Way's Doomflayers lead the charge, getting pin-cushioned by archers, some of which are armor-piercing, but someone's got to take the hits, I suppose. Maybe wanted to wait for the Skaven slaves to get here, but oh well. The deed is done now. Doomflayers in melee with the Wild Riders, Rat Ogres, and Skaven charging forward as best they can to get to those archers. The Wolf Rats start to break through. There's only so many Wood Elf cavalry. They can't be everywhere at once. The Wild Riders starting to take a lot of damage. Glade Riders also. And the dogs found their way onto archers, but their leadership is faltering already. Oh, dogs. You and your bad leadership. Bladewind goes through some Clan Rat Spears, pretty solid hit on them, and Wild Riders are still trying to find some space. One of the Skaven flanks is collapsing entirely. All the infantry are leaving, and now the Pit Fighters at Hell's Deep getting shot in the back and hit in the front. Too much for them. They also retreat. So the Skaven seem to be doing well on the top side of the map. The bottom side is going towards the Wood Elves. A lot of damage onto the Wood Elf units. Even if they come back, they're going to be in a pretty sorry state. Though the Skaven might have difficulties chasing them down. If some of the Wood Elf mobility from the winning side comes over here and sweeps out the back, takes care of the dogs, and lets the Glade Guard come back, that could be pretty brutal. Because the Skaven don't have the mobility advantage if this slows down. Dogs, super wounded Doomflayers, wounded Rat Ogres cannot beat Wild Riders in open combat without any infantry nearby. So you could guarantee your archers can come back. Or the Skaven chase you to their death. Doomflayers trying to harass the Lord get attacked by Wild Riders while the rest of the Skaven army starts to come over. From their winning side, they are now pivoting towards the area they lost, but it's going to be tricky. I mean, we do see some Wild Riders and Glade Riders rallying in the meantime, so there is a cost to pivoting like this, but you got to do it. I mean, they got to shut down the archers. You can't just let them fire for free. I get that, but just pointing out that the Wood Elves successfully drawing pressure away from their routing units so that they can rally and come back to the fight. Skaven trying to overwhelm the archers as Ikit rolls through them on his Doom Wheel, and other Doom Flayers get here, but the Wild Riders have arrived. Like the Rohirrim of old, side charging into the Doom Flayers. We'll get some decent damage down once they really start making contact, but in comes a Brass Orb from Ikit. Very nice Brass Orb. Does good damage to cavalry when they're blobbed up, which those Wild Riders were. Bounce power is about 50-50. Skaven white flags are showing up, but the Wood Elf health bars are getting pretty low, so what'll fail first? The tenacity and endurance of the Wood Elves, or the leadership and cowardice of the Skaven? Wild Riders still trying to pick off the last of these Doomflayers. Ikit is doing what he can to disrupt archers. Rat Ogres only keeping leadership by their charge bonus. Once that wears off, they're probably going to rout. There they go. But Clan Rats have arrived, so those archers still will not get to fire. All of a sudden, the Wood Elves are up on the balance of power, and I would tend to agree. Too many Skaven are routing in too many directions, and those Wood Elves we mentioned earlier that were able to rally are proving to be a big problem as the archers come back and fire in on the Skaven units that hadn't yet routed. So the lack of capacity for the Skaven to secure their victories and like chase off everything that was routing is pretty brutal. But it's a weakness of the faction. They're a pretty strong faction without it. It's fine. Just pointing it out. Ikit is still very healthy, and that's where a lot of the balance of power is for the Skaven right now. You can see the Pit Fighters in the background getting harassed by skirmish calves, so they'll be gone soon. Doomflayers about to rout too, so just a lot of Skaven are routing. It seems like the final break is upon us as the last of the Rat Ogres leave. Everybody besides Ikit is running for the hills. And he throws out one final Hail Mary, a Flensing Rune on the Spellweaver of Dark while trying to chase her down. Unfortunately, the overcast damage does apply to him, just further kicking the Skaven while they're down. Darkcaster's gonna get away. She'll be fine. She won't rout from that or anything. And now Ikit is doing his best to dodge the incoming arrows, but to what end? Like, it's good dodging, and he should definitely dodge instead of rather taking them for free, but not like he's gonna win if he dodges all the arrows. He's got nothing left in the army. It's just Ikit. More archers firing at him. There's a decent volley and it'll trigger army losses. All right. I had some tournament questions I had to deal with real quick. Archers got good value. Wild Riders did well. For Milky Way, Ikit did some good work. Clan Rats and Skaven Slaves just got cycle charged and murdered, but and it's kind of their lot in life. Dogs did all right. Rat Ogres struggled a little bit. Doomflayers struggled to get value too. GG. We need the Skaven Cav that ride wolf rats. They'll probably turn into high elves and just win with cancer. Yeah, the thing that gives me hope, though, and actually does give me hope, is I see a lot of campaign players complaining about the meta right now. Where, like, AI are just spamming a ton of single entities. Where, oh, let me see if I can pull it up. The specific example. Tier 5 Doomstack is not fun. This is a post in the content creator Discord, so I'm not going to show it on screen because that's, you know, pretty bad breach of that. But so this campaign content creator put up a build that he had to fight against Norska, and it was, this is an AI army. It's a Shaman Lord, a Marauder Champion, a Marauder Bearman, 4 Marauder Champions with great weapons, and then the rest of the army is 6 Chimeras, 2 Cursed to Etten or whatever they're called, and then it looks like 3 Famir with great weapons. So that's honestly not the worst army I've seen, but I get his point. I mean, I've seen some worse stuff out of the Lizardmen late game where it's like Krokgar, 3 frickin' Saurus Scar Veteran heroes, a like Skink Caster hero or 2, a Skink Chief hero on a frickin' Pterodon, and then like 3 Feral Stegodons, 2 Feral Carnosaurs, and maybe like a couple Temple Guard. But that's the whole army is just single entities. So yeah, there are a lot of people complaining about it even for campaign. So I kind of hope the End Times DLC isn't more single entity spamming kind of stuff, because people are just over it. I don't know. CA doesn't care about multiplayer a ton because campaign is their big breadwinner. Like, and I'm not. This is another quarterfinal, by the way. Jeopardy versus Flower, Dark Elves Lizardman. But anyway, I'm not trying to be a hater. I'm just being realistic. It's like, I mean, 1% of your community plays multiplayer. 99% show up for the campaigns, so they focus on the campaigns. But when the campaign players have similar complaints to the multiplayer crew, then I'm like, ooh, this might get handled. This thing right here might just get fixed. Giving multiplayer conquest a try. Could you give me a generic warrior chaos build to start if you have time? Vox, I will build one after this game really quick. After this game. I had to fight late game Elspeth with 8 landships once. Yeah, that sounds pretty awful. It's more on the AI rather than the meta, though. No? Yeah. But, like, I could see CA not wanting to add a bunch more single entities if people are tired of single entity spam. They will add some, but I'm just saying not nearly as many. Okay. On to this game. And then Vox did ask for a Warriors of Chaos build, which I can show him right after this. For the Lizardmen, we actually have some Saurus in the front line. Hell yeah, fuck yeah, love Saurus. And then Skinks, which is standard. Skink Skirmishers, a nasty Hand of the Gods, but we'll get back to that. So Skink Skirmishers, Coldwind Riders, Coldwind Spear Riders, Pterodons of Fireleech Bolas, a Heaven's Caster with Chain Lightning and Harmonic Convergence, a Bastildon Rev Crystal, and Krokgar on Grimlock with Colossal Strike, Sacred Spawning, and Hand of the Gods. On the Dark Elf side, we have Dark Riders, Repeated Crossbows, a Bloodwrack Medusa, Morathi with Melkoths, and Soul Stealer for spells. She has her bound Doombolts. 2 Scourgerunner Chariots, which are currently massacring Skinks in melee, and then Bleak Swords, Dread Spears, and a couple Coldwind Knights. 2 interesting builds. I mean, the Dark Elves took a lot of the units they always take, but in different ratios. That's kind of interesting. A little more skirmish, light on the infantry. Scourgerunners might have overcommitted, struggling to get out of this many infantry before the Coldwind Spear Riders show up, but a Melkoths should slow those Coldwind Spear Riders enough that the Scourgerunners can get away. Not that they won't ever make contact, but when they do, 47 speed is not a lot. The Scourgerunners should be able to just zip on out of here. Wand of Crydon coming down onto Krokgar for some consistent poke. He's probably going to get Rev Crystaled, but you got to start the damage somewhere. Buff my boy Krokgar. He's okay right now. I think the Lizardman problem for Krokgar, and I don't even think he's bad, but I think the Lizardman is like less their lords need buffs and their best lords probably need nerfs. I don't think the faction needs nerfs, but if you want to see things like Krokgar or Nakai more often, both Krokgar and Nakai are fine. The problem is like Slans are great. Mazda Mundi's amazing, so you just have way better options rather than just good. You could go fantastic, but Cold One Riders engaging with their Cold One Knight counterparts. The Knights much better trained and have anti-large, meaning the Riders are having a tough time. The Cold One Riders did get a downhill charge on them, which is helping, and they have backup from Cold One Spear Riders, which is also making things a little difficult for the Dark Elves. Some Dark Rider Peter Crossbow Overwatch Fire will help a little bit, but not enough to save the Cold One Knights from their fate, as the Spear Riders have fully gotten locked in. Krokgar gets another Hand of the Gods down the Bloodrock Medusa, forcing it to half HP and getting it to retreat as Marathi and some Cold One Knights pick off random skinks. The Lizards are still trying to find a fight as they took the point, but the Dark Elves continue to retreat. Chain Lightning is out, but on the retreating Dark Elves, most of them just get out of that lightning spell. A couple Bleak Swords get caught and obliterated, but most of the unit is fine as the Feral Bastildon and Krokgar have caught up. You can only run so fast. These guys can catch you. Krokgar has Colossal Strike and Harmonic Convergence, giving him 64 melee defense, and he's probably going to pop his Sacred Spawning, unless it's on cooldown. He must have used it in some of the skirmish, so he is in trouble. Like, I know he was doing this to catch the Cold One Knight so he can actually get an engagement. He's going to back off and heal later, but he is taking probably a lot more damage than Jepardu wanted to sign up for. Wherever the Lizardmen are getting a fight, they seem to be doing well. The problem is how much skirmish the Dark Elves have brought to the party. The Scourge Chariots, the Dark Rider Peer Crossbows are just consistently running away and dealing damage whenever a fight does break out. Soul Stealer from Marathi wanted to hit Krokgar as well as the Bastildon, but just the Bastildon will have to do. She'll heal herself back up to full. Not that she was that damaged, but healing is healing. And again, she was trying to punish the single entities that were all grouped up at the time, but Krokgar dodged it. Trying to dodge the Wand of Crydon does not work. The Rev Crystal healing has worn off, so he does need to take a little bit of a chill pill and get that healing when it is back off cooldown. Pterodons trying to fly over the Dark Rider Peter Crossbows. They're 360 fire. They can shoot straight down. The crossbows can't shoot straight up, so you could get one-sided trades that way, but the Scourge Chariots are going to peel them off, and they decide it's not worth it. Balance power is slightly in the Dark Elves' favor, as I've said several times today, and whenever there's healing around. The longer the game goes, the more the faction with healing is going to benefit, so that balance of power could stabilize, and the Lizardmen could clutch down in the late game. Slan should have 6.5 HP. Yeah. They shouldn't be that tanky. I know they're a giant frog thing, but I don't know. Once they get surrounded with a bunch of halberds climbing all over their chair and stabbing them to death, they should probably die quickly. I played an annoying ladder game where I was playing BC and my opponent played a Life Slan Dread Soaring build under 400 models. You won, but it was very annoying. Oh, for sure. Vampire counts struggle a lot with people blobbing on them. It's tough. Balance power shifting further against the Lizardman as Krokgar continues to take poke. Those Scourge and Chariots are not taking no for an answer, and they are trying to track him down before he can get Rev Crystaled like 3 or 4 more times. And the Dark Elf infantry are starting to win out just due to attrition. We've seen a lot of Cold One charging. We've seen a lot of Scourge Runner Chariot charging, so the Saurus and the Skinks didn't get an honest 1v1 fight with the Bleak Swords. Otherwise, I think they might have won in the end. But with the support of the Dark Elf army, their infantry are actually starting to win. Now, it's not winning by a lot. You have a pretty wounded Dread Spear and a very healthy Bleak Sword, but I mean, the Lizards have literally nothing, so now you're going to force Krokgar to try and clear those late game while dealing with Scourge Chariots and Marathi and a Bloodrack Medusa, which is just a lot to ask of the guy. He's getting charged by Cold One Knights, gives himself Cold-Blooded and all of his buffs to make a final heroic stand. Heroic it shall be, but it will be very final, as a Soul Stealer comes in to probably seal his fate. Marathi dives in, 200 HP, army losses is going to hit. The Dark Elves will advance to the semifinals. Pick Krokgar, spend 1k extra on your heroes versus Frog. Lose. Yeah, it's hard, dude. Krokgar got only 1k value, and then his Heaven Skink had a hard time affecting the map. And Bastillodons didn't get a lot of value, though they are more supportive. Pterodons did okay. For Flower, Dark Elf Kite is quite strong. Golden Knights did very well. Oof. Yeah, Golden Knights did great, and then the Scourge trades very, very nicely. GG's. Alright, so Vox wanted a Warriors of Chaos generic build. Let me check my messages real quick. Shark sent me a replay. So we have our final quarterfinal ready. All right. Generic Warriors of Chaos build. This will be Land Battle Conquest. Domination's very different, but you asked for one build, so that's what you're getting. Generic, huh? Archaon's generically pretty good. And you could take Searing Doom and Spirit Leech for single. This way you can target single entities with Spirit Leech or blobs with Searing Doom. You can deal with both. It's pretty fine. Take Kindle Flame and Dorger. Slayer of Kings, Crown of Domination's fine. That's fine. Archaon's pretty expensive. Then you can get a relatively cheap and chipper front line with 2 Marauders and then, 4 Marauders and then 2 Forsaken. Could go Undivided. Undivided's fine. Nurgle loses some melee attack, which sucks ass. Yeah, we'll see if I have the money to upgrade the Forsaken, but maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe not. But anyway, that's a decent mixed front line. And then you do want some Skirmish Cav in case your opponent tries to blob or anything against you. Mutilith Vortex Beast. I'm assuming you have the DLCs when I'm making this build. If you don't, that's a very different thing. Mutilith Vortex Beast is strong. It's a decent duelist, really good against blobs, pretty all-around good unit. And then we need some mobility. So let's grab a Chaos Knight with a Poison Dog to be his little buddy. And the Chaos Knight, you probably want Tzeentch. For the barriers, regeneration is quite good. Or you could get Nurgle for extra melee defense, but I don't know. I like the Tzeentch one. So Chaos Knight and Dog, good mobility pairing together, good synergy. Skirmish Cav to deal with blobs or mobility problems. Mutilith Vortex Beast to deal with blobs / just punching through their front line. Archaon's just a very good Lord and Duelist. You have a little bit of extra money. At this point, you could do whatever you want. How many marks do I have? 2. So you could get Hellstrider and then upgrade one of your Marauders to something. Marauder with great weapons. Why aren't the Worshippers of the Crow on the Warriors of Chaos? That's weird. So you could turn 2 of your Forsaken into Tzeentch for the barriers. So that's one example of a generic build. That could be fine. Another thing people like to do goes in a different direction entirely, though. And that is... It's not my preferred, but some people like to go triple armored troll with your front line, and then you can do a lot of work, but then you need more aggressive sides, so we would probably want 2 Hellstriders, a Chaos Knight. Not a troll, that was a misclick. That was a misclick, don't do that. 2 dogs, and then 600 more gold. That one we can upgrade. Chaos Warrior with dual weapons. So this is a bit more rush focused. You have no skirmish cav, so this is weaker to blobs, but I've seen some people do similar stuff to this, where it's like your front line is almost guaranteed to win with Forsaken and Chaos Warriors of Khorne with triple armored Chaos Troll. So then you just have some stuff to run things off the map or push skirmishers away, that kind of thing. These can also be good. So either of those builds is generally fine. And this is generic. You asked me for a generic build, so obviously people are going to bring up like, well, that's weak to Lizardmen if they do this and this. And I'm like, bro, I'm trying to make a build that's okay into 24 factions. Like, this is generally fine. All right. Okay. All right, back to the qualifier. I do have a semifinal to, a quarterfinal to cast. Both semifinals are underway as we speak. So we should have this game and then 3 more to close out the stream. Sound good? Sound good? Yeah, Vox. Good luck with it. Obviously, every matchup has different nuances and different things you want to do with your build. So sometimes you'll just like play something and you'll make alterations over time. You know, but it's a good starting spot. It's generally fine. Haven't Blood Beasts replaced Armor Trolls, the preferred unit on Warriors of Chaos? They're a bit more expensive and they're less tanky, so I wouldn't like to take them in a generic matchup. Sorry, this is the last question I'll answer about Warriors of Chaos, then I gotta cast this game. Because Blood Beasts have no regeneration and they don't have armor, so they can be weaker in matchups like High Elves, where there's a lot of cheap archers and spears you're gonna have to deal with. They can be weak versus Wood Elves, they can be weaker versus Empire. Wherever there's cheap spears and archers, they're going to be difficult. So when someone asks me for a generic build, I think the Armored Trolls are generically better. I think the Blood Beasts are better in several matchups, but it's hard for me to just blindly recommend them, you know? Skirmish Cav are also difficult. Like, Blood Beasts struggle into Tomb Kings because of Skeleton Horse Archers and Skeleton Spears in the front line. So that'd just be kind of my answer, is like, if I don't know who my opponent is, Armored Trolls are safer. It's a safer place to put your money. All right, on to this game. Charks and the Wood Elves versus Pasha on Kislev. Pasha did knock me out of the tournament, so I'm rooting for him to go far, and he made it to quarterfinals, but you always like to root for your opponents. So you got beat by somebody good. Nice first volley here from the Wood Elves, taking out half HP on a Dervish and half HP on an Armored Kossar. For the build, we have Prey of Anathrema, Arrow of Kurnos, Dragon Caster, the Glade Lord, Wild Hunters of Kurnos, Zotes, double Zote, a Branch Wraith with Earthblood and Melkots, double Waywatcher, one of which is the Hawkeyes of Drakira. And then in the back, we have the infantry, 4 Eternal Guard. Very interesting Wood Elf build. The Glady, like, none of it is crazy. I have seen Zotes here and there. I have seen the Glady, but not on her dragon. I have seen Waywatchers, but usually either 1 or 3. I don't often see 2. So it's kind of a wonky Wood Elf build. Already one Prey of Anathrema on the Armored Kossars. For Kislev, before their army dies, let's cast some of it, huh? Kossars and Armored Kossars, so spamming a bunch of cheap-ish ranged. Their front line has silver shields and armor. Their back line just has bows. Couple skirmish horse archers, and then the real meat of this army is the cavalry, it seems. Winged lancers and Kossovite dervishes all along the back line. Zarina on her ice sled with Ice Sheet and Ice Maiden's Kiss to slow them. So Kislev went as wide and as cheap as possible to make it very difficult for the Wood Elves to snipe them out. Zote's good versus High Elves. Zotes are good. I'm not trying to say any of these units are bad. It's just like interesting. You know, you don't often see Zotes and a dragon. You don't often see this lady on a dragon at all. You don't often see Waywatchers in sets of 2. So it's kind of a unique build from Sharks. The kiting has begun. Kislev is trying to take the point, but they did walk past it. They're sending one Kossar back to take it now, realizing this game might go a little long if they don't start that timer a-ticking. Dervishes and Winged Lancers advancing, but they're advancing slowly. They don't want to just feed themselves into the Waywatchers. They're accepting there's only 2 Waywatchers. It can't kill your whole army. They're probably going to get all their ammo off, so the best you can do, yeah, you can see he's starting to dodge it. Another breath attack down from the Dragon Lord. Another half HP off an infantry unit. And the Zarina, her chariot just knocks the Branch Wraith around, pushing her away for now. The dragon actually lands in the Kossars, interestingly enough. And now the Eternal Guard are going to get involved. 2 for 1 value, though. Those Kislevite units are blobbed up a little bit, which is pretty bad. Kislev is getting a good surround in here. As we saw earlier versus the Skaven, very patient with their cavalry, ready to charge in at the Waywatchers at a moment's notice. But we have Zotes, we have Wild Hunters of Kurnos in very good positioning. Charks I mean, he's been playing a Waywatcher Kite since Warhammer 2. This dude is very good at this playstyle. And he has not lost his edge, it seems, as Wild Hunters of Kronos are always where they need to be, immediately diving into Cosified Dervishes, peeling them off. But Pasha just has so many Dervishes. There to go into the Hawkeyes. We have Eternal Guard, we have Zotes, and the Wild Hunters are even going to turn around and try and make this better. Ice Sheet is slowing everybody down, but yeah, those Dervishes are still going to take a lot of damage. Buyer Blood is procced. Discouraged from the Hawkeyes of Jakir, occasionally getting a shot out. Smoke Bomb has slowed them down. We have a big old cavalry mishmash. Look at all of those Kislev Cav jumping in here to kill some archers. But the Wild Hunters of Kronos, the Zotes, and the Dragon are feasting, and there's even some spears in here as well. Still a good play from Kislev. Knocking out those Waywatchers is important, though one of them slipped away from the blob fight, is trying to get away. The Tsarina will not let it happen. Her chariot is tracking them down, but the Hawkeyes are routing. Everybody's routing for Kislev from that blob fight, but mission accomplished. The Wild Hunters have been attritioned quite badly, and both of the Waywatchers are under pressure, which was the whole point. An overcasted Ice Maiden's Kiss maybe gets these Waywatchers to rout, but the Tsarina can't stick around much longer, as the Zotes and Wild Hunters that remain are going to push her away, and a nice what is that thing called? Arrow of Kurnos coming out from the Lord does a lot of damage to the Tsarina. She's forced away. Cosified Dervishes will peel for her for now, but it won't last forever. Wood Elves ahead on the balance of power. They're feeling pretty good, but the Hawkeyes have started to rout. Can some of Kislev's excessive amount of cavalry find a way onto the Hawkeyes and make sure they actually go off the map? That could be huge. They still have like half their ammo, so it's not nothing. But what is also not nothing is the Tsarina's predicament. She has been juking, ducking, weaving, and diving as best she can, but she's been taking a lot of damage in the Wood Elf backline, and she's trying to find a way back to her own troops. Kislev has the point, and they are ticking up meaningfully. So if Kislev can slow this down, you've taken out well, not both the Waywatchers. You've taken out one of them. The other one's significantly damaged. You've mitigated the incoming damage. If you can just slow the game down and capture that point, you can win. The Wood Elves are not about it, as they are sideswiping, T-posing, walking alongside the Tsarina. That chariot has always been very well designed and never had hitbox problems that we definitely did not just see yet again. But the Hawkeyes of Jakir are going to come back. It looks like the Wild Hunters of Kronos sacrificed their lives to buy them a little bit of space, and now the Horse Archers are forced away. But the Hawkeyes don't come back. They just run off the map. They're like, listen, we killed like a third of the army between us and the other Waywatchers. We're fine. We're done. We're out of here. We did our jobs. So they have retreated. For now, the Wood Elves very ahead on the balance of power. Not looking too great health bar wise, but neither are the Kislevites, to be fair. The Kislevites that are healthy, I mean, these are just archers. That's like 400, 450 gold archers, right? So full health versus a full health dragon, it's not comparable. So the health bars are a little deceptive as far as the Wood Elves' strength in this game. Still have one Waywatcher, which is problematic. And the archers are counter-firing. Is it all doom and gloom for Kislev? Not necessarily. Archers can do a decent amount of damage versus the Wood Elves. Wood Elves are not known to be the tankiest of factions, so if they get bogged down in infantry fights while getting shot, they can get killed pretty quickly. Flesh of Stone wears off on the wounded Zotes, and now the Archer Fire pours in for them. We still have some armored Kossars fending off the last of the Eternal Guard. The Wood Elves are running out of cheap chaff as the Wild Hunters of Kronos throw their bodies at the Horse Archers, who just want to stop the Waywatchers, but they're unable to, and they get peeled off. More Kossars still in the fight, still shooting away at the Zotes as an Ice Sheet tries to slow them down. Ice Maiden's Kiss also reducing their speed. The Zote speed is down to 25. As it looks like Pasha just wants to slow them as much as possible, so they have to walk ominously slowly towards the archers. As these archers up top, looks like they suffered another breath attack from the dragon. Yeah. No breath attacks left. It's looking pretty bad for Kislev. They currently have a decent firing surround going on. Tsarina's kiting away. She's out of ammunition on her chariot, but she's just under such pressure. The Glady is following her around. The Glady does have good ammunition left with high missile strength, so she can actually put consistent damage down onto the Tsarina. And she does have firewall moving. Ooh, Praevenoth Rayma to lock her down. Obviously, the 20% missile resistance is nice, but this is all about the dragon diving in. Praevenoth Rayma used for a melee trap, not something you see very often. Usually, the Praevenoth Rayma is just a pin-cushing something with Waywatchers. Army losses has popped all of the Buyer Bloods, and Kislev will not advance past the quarterfinals. 2,740 value on the Glady. Infantry didn't do as much as they would like. Waywatchers did okay. Zotes and the Wild Hunters of Kronos did all right. For Pasha, Zarina got good value on her chariot, despite some jank-looking things. Armored Kossars did very well. Basic Kossars struggled a little bit, though. Wing Lancers did okay. Kossar Dervishes did all right. Horse Archers did pretty well. Cheese. So that takes us up to semifinals. We have Tzeentch, Dark Elves, Wood Elves, Wood Elves. And I know the Wood Elf Mirror did send me a replay. Here is one from Dark Elves. So we'll pop back up to Dark Elves Tzeentch before we go to the Wood Elf Mirror. So these are semifinals. 3 games left in the stream. Sipa Flower Fuck Conquest. That's a promising start. Pillar of Bone. Teeny tiny, itsy bitsy little, teeny little, itty bitty, super small map. All right, let's do it. Let us do it. Doom Knights of Tzeentch, Chaos Furies of Tzeentch, a lot of those, so a very aggressive flying vanguard from Sipa. Sartorial with Plague of Rust and Searing Doom, and then we have Chaos Knights and Forsaken. For the Dark Elves, 4 Black Ark Corsair Hambos, Ravagers of Rakarth, a High Beastmaster with Tormentor's Sword, and then Dark Riders, Cold One Knights, and a Dark Caster with Blade Wind and Chill Wind. Neat. Chaos Knights of Tzeentch diving onto the Black Ark Corsair Hambos, who get hit with a Plague of Rust to reduce their rather impressive armor down to half of its original value. Furies and the Knights pairing up against the Cold One Knights, and man, it is just chaos as Tzeentch is charging straight forward. In comes a Chill Wind down the line, hits multiple units, but Black Ark Corsair Hambos are routing. The Cold One Knights are routing, so very successful start for Tzeentch on this flank. And the other side looking pretty good too. Their heavy investment in melee is going to crush through the Dread Spears. We'll have to see if Flower can kite it out like he did in other games. The Scourgerunner Chariots and the Black Ark Corsair Hambo is going to have to get a lot of value out as Tzeentch is just mulching through, doing their best Khorne impression to slam the Dark Elf front line and get out of here as quickly as possible. Chaos Fury started Demonic Instability crumble, however, and as things slow down, the Dark Elves could start to profit. There it is, Murderous Prowess, giving everybody the leadership they need to stay alive, except for that Cold One Knight terror routes as soon as his leadership buff was procced. Pretty brutal there. Tzeentch is getting a lot of things to route off the map, but halfway on the balance of power, so not getting that much of a lead just yet on the balance of power. Furies fading away is pretty bad. They're quite expensive units, but the Forsaken finish off most of the front line. For the Dark Elves, we have 2 Scourgerunner units. One is the Lord, but whatever. Those are both full HP. 2 full HP Black Ark Corsair Hambos and a decently healthy caster. But their melee units, even the Cold One Knights, have just gotten murdered. Absolutely massacred. Neither side has taken the conquest point just yet, though I don't think we'll need it as this game seems to be moving very, very quickly. Forsaken just going to get charged by 2 chariots, nothing they could do about it, so they turned into it instead and decided to actually get some damage out. Nice job Plague of Rusting the Ravagers of Rakarth. It's tempting to Plague of Rust the Lord, but I think it's a lot easier for infantry to get damage on 4 models of Scourgerunners rather than 1 High Beastmaster. Chaos Knights cleaning up the last of the Dark Riders. Doom Knights trying to get onto those 2 Black Ark Corsair Hambos that have so far escaped criticism. And now the Cold One Knights rally, face planting into the white line. They are back, and their HP is equivalent to the Chaos Knights of Tzeentch. So actually, they could be a bit of a menace if the Chaos Knights don't countercharge them. This could get a little spicy. One of the Chaos Knights does peel off and countercharge the Cold One Knights. That is going to be a bit of a wash. I wonder who routes first. But the other Chaos Knight was trying to deal with those Black Ark Corsair Hambos. Instead, gets routed back to the Cold One Knights. Chill Wind slowing them down a little bit. They do finish off the Cold One Knights, keeping the Chaos Knights both in the game, but both very wounded. Doom Knights still chasing down the Black Ark Corsair Hambos. The Scourgerunner Chariots, the Ravagers running a little low on ammo. The High Beastmaster has plenty, and more Black Ark Corsair Hambos are back in the fight. As Forsaken start to chase them down. Tzeentch getting kited, not something we frequently see, but it is definitely possible when we go full Forsaken like this. There's a Plague of Rust down. Does nothing to slow down the Blackheart Corsair Hambos, though, so that chill wind giving Frostbite is going to put some distance between the Forsaken and those Handbows. Bolt of Change hits the Sorceress of Dark. Another one will knock her out of this game. And there is no healing for her, so that's kind of a given at some point. The Dark Elf Cavalry is trying to catch up to this last Blackheart Corsair Hambo. We also have a Fury who's pretty healthy in the distance, and these mobility elements are going to be very important as we get into the late game. When the High Beastmaster is just trying to kite it out, when the Blackheart Corsair Hambos are trying to kite it out. Here we have a Tormentor's Sword net plus a Chillwind combo on the Forsaken, but a predictive Searing Doom from Tzeentch is hurting the Blackheart Corsairs into not getting as much distance as they would like. They now have to run at an angle instead of directly away, meaning that the Forsaken will catch up a little quicker. Chaos Knights also trying to catch those Blackheart Corsair Hambos. I wonder if they wrap in onto these ones or if they're just going to be content chasing those other guys. As they get slowed down, the Ravagers of Rakarth Poison is proving to be a nuisance for the Chaos Knights of Tzeentch. A lot of slows. They do get a charge onto the Ravagers of Rakarth, but then the Ravagers get away and just don't take that much damage as long as they're moving. Whiplash gives them extra damage. And another Searing Doom to punish the Blackheart Corsair Hambos. They don't seem to see it coming this time. Good damage there. The Darkcaster overcasted Chillwind, and that is probably going to knock her out of the game. If Sartorial hits a charge attack, that will rout her. And he does hit it. There she goes. But he is also very low. He has to be careful in front of these Blackheart Corsair Hambos. There's not a lot of them, but poke damage is poke. It'll get you eventually. Sorceress is out, which means he can spend his future Doom Bolts, well, the tier 2 armor ability of Tzeentch, which is a Bolt of Change. It's a Doom Bolt. He can focus those on the High Beastmaster or the Ravagers of Rakarth if he feels so inclined. Tzeentch is up on the balance of power. Plague of Rust is down onto the Blackheart Corsair Hambos. Chaos Knights routing away. Searing Doom on the front. I think Sartorial's spamming out spells, though, because he's running out of HP. I think he really wants a tier 2 armor ability of Tzeentch, even if Sartorial is going to die. Sartorial's trying to keep with the Dark Caster, but he's just getting poked. Poked in the back by this High Beastmaster. Slow damage. But the High Beastmaster peels off. He wants to Tormentor Sword the Doom Knights of Tzeentch, which is a good play. But I wonder if letting Sartorial get out of range was worth it, because you had him pretty much dead to rights. If Sartorial can just get that caster off the map and then leave for the rest of the game, just don't die, that'll be a big win for Tzeentch. Blackheart Corsair Hambos, very close to out of ammunition, very close to out of health. The Scourge Runners are out of ammunition. The High Beastmaster only has 7 shots left as the Doom Knights T-pose on top of him, dipping and diving up and down, up and down. We're gonna have to land eventually as Searing Doom is out from Sartorial. Again, more poke damage, but mainly, I think, trying to charge the army passive. As the Doom Knights decide, instead of landing, they're just going to rout. Yes, the Bolt of Change is going to target the Ravagers of Rakarth. Interesting to not go for the Tzeentch Lord, but looks like he just wanted the guaranteed model death of killing one of the 2 Scourge Runners that remained in this game. Forsaken going back to the point. Looks like they're going to capture it, realizing that at this point they could get kited for the rest of the game, theoretically, so they do need to go take the point. Plague of Rust down the Blackheart Corsair Hambos to try and finish them off so the Chaos Furies of Tzeentch can do some work before Demonic Stability Crumbling hits them. In comes another predictive Searing Doom, but another good dodge from the Blackheart Corsairs. Though the Dark Elves are mostly out of ammunition. 4 shots left on the High Beastmaster, 1 volley for the Handbows, and as we've mentioned, the Ravagers of Rakarth are all out. That Blackheart Corsair that Sipa managed to rout did have 4 ammunition. Only -4 leadership somehow. Maybe it'll rally. Maybe. Tzeentch captures the point. Very low HP and leadership bars, but we have 1 full health Forsaken just vibing. And these knights are all exhausted. They probably have to find somewhere to just rest to get their vigor back. Blackheart Corsairs, like we said, 1 volley left. Another predictive Searing Doom. Doesn't matter. Just wants to throw it out to get another tier 2 armor ability of Tzeentch at some point. Dark Elves, 3 volleys left in the High Beastmaster, and he is pathing to get in range of Sartorial. I wonder if that's going to be his target. It seems to be. Yeah. He's going to throw the last of his shots at Sartorial, who does start dodging appropriately. 2 volleys left on him. Doom Knights charge back into the Ravagers of Rakarth. Somehow I saw the Hambos fire a volley and still not be out, even though 1 means 1, but I know it's because the ammo doesn't adjust for their model count. Ravagers rout. Doom Knights also going to rout. That's probably going to shatter them. Yeah, there they go. So they're gone. One shot left from the High Beastmaster. No shots left from anybody else as those Black Ark Crusader Handbows do go off the map. Bounce power is teetering towards army losses. Plague of Rust is down on the High Beastmaster, so Sartorial can dive in onto him. That's probably going to be GG. His army losses takes care of that. Tzeentch Melee Rush advances to the finals. I skipped the values accidentally. I got distracted. One of the finalists messaged me to come spectate it live, so I'm just going to cast this Wood Elf replay. If they're still waiting, then I'll hop in. But if they're not waiting, then they're not waiting. It's fine. Charix and Rider of Reaver's Mark, also known as Rider of Rohan, the Wood Elf semifinal to determine who will face Tzeentch. Wild Riders, Glade Riders, Dryads, Drycha, and then War Dancers on the side of Charix. So a full melee Vanguard rush on the side of Rider of Rohan. We have Wild Riders, Glade Guard with Hagbane and Starfire Shafts. Hagbane Tips and Starfire Shafts. Then Eternal Guard and a Spellweaver of Dark with Blade Wind. And they're trying to take this Forest Hill thing and camp it out and shoot at the point, but it's proving difficult. The Archers are ending up in melee. They are ahead of the Eternal Guard. It looks like they wanted to swap out for the Eternal Guard, but then things got chaotic very quickly. Drycha runs up with her Malevolent Dryad summon, and already multiple Glade Guard are in trouble. And more are retreating back toward the trees as Charix is just hounding in on these guys. And Wood Elves don't take debuffs for fighting in the woods, so it's not like the cavalry is going to do poorly up there. They have woodsmen. They'll be okay. Wild Riders taking a lot of damage, trying to hold back the tide. Archers are firing where they can, but oh, Rider of Rohan gets caught. His archers are still trying to get into that back line, but the front line collides where they are, so they're just stuck in a body, a mass of bodies. There we go. I was going to say a body of masses, which is technically correct, but not what you want to be saying. Man, if Drycha had Pit of Shades, that would be a beautiful Pit of Shades target, but she doesn't. Not like it's going to matter. Drycha is powering through that front line. War Dancer's doing really well. Tzeentch is really favored against Wood Elves with all magic attacks and shield mechanism to counter kiting. Yeah, Sipa's in a good spot to win, but we'll see. Charix or Rider of Rohan could go fight him and be a nuisance, though it is looking right now like Charix will be the one. I mean, Rider of Rohan's forces, everybody is thinking about routing besides the Lord, and yeah, he's just going to throw in the towel. And that was a good rush here from Charix. Very good. Nice job. Rider of Rohan, just thought it was going to be a different kind of game. That is a lot of archers to try and protect from full Vanguard rush like that. So Charix wins it. Finals have either begun or I am going to spectate them. They sent me a code, but I told them I had another game to cast, and then the game was like 2 seconds long. So we'll see. Lobby could still be there. Seems like it's in progress. All right, Nito Burrito. So they're doing finals, which is fine. So I have something to occupy your guys' time. And that is math. Not necessarily math, just results. Okay, so there is the Photoshop. On my other screen, I have the challenge. So let's take a look. Wood Elves. We know Charix made it to finals. So that will be Charix. We know Tzeentch is Sipa. Quarterfinals, not quarterfinals, semifinals, we have Flower made it the furthest on the Dark Elves. Rider of Rohan also made it to semis on a shared faction, so I'll put Rider in question mark here just to remember that that happened. Skaven representative is Milky Way. He made it to quarters. Kislev is Pasha, who also made it to quarters. There's Pasha. Pasha. And then Jepardu is our Lizardmen rep. Hey, Jep. Love that for you. Jepardu. Okay, Torasin is our High Elf rep. Torasin. Okay. Sounds good. Curio greenskins. I don't see any other greenskins in the top 16, so I will put Curio here. And then Strevelet won the Grand Cathay mirror match. Strevelet. No, it's Strevelet. The middle E doesn't exist. Got him. Okay, understood. Then there's Jepardu again. King Arthur on Tomb Kings. King Arthur not playing Bretonnia is kind of fucked up, but all right. Persian Warrior, Vampire Coast. I know he did a mirror with Codex, and I got to deal with that later. Tretch on Dark Elves got knocked out. And then Archangel on Ogre Kingdoms is uncontested so far, so we'll put him up here. Okay. And then the last round. So we had a Corn mirror match with Ash and Duck Shark. Duck Shark, I saw you in chat. How did that go? Duck. Gotrek on Dwarves. Yeah, there was an event months ago while I was sick that my admins ran to get people to play on our ladder, and it was great. Gotrek won that. We cast the finals for it a couple weeks ago, but yeah, he got a guaranteed spot in. He had a guaranteed spot in because of winning that event previously. It was a different thing. All right, so there is a Corn rep. I just don't know who it is. Loopy on Wood Elves, but Charx got further. Spikes on Britannia and Black Knight on Britannia. Did they play their mirror match? Okay. Alfredino's messaging me. Why? Why? Go away! Anyway, back to what I was doing. I'll see what he wants in a second. Okay, so Corn and Britannia are both in round 1. Demons of Chaos, only Segos signed up as them. So we have Segos. King Arthur. Path to Power is Vampire counts, and he was our only Vampire count. Lovely. That's what you get for playing the niche factions, brother. Less competition. Solmier was on Slanesh, and I just want to check if Sexy Boy was also playing Slanesh. No. He looks like the only Slanesh, so Solmier. And Sexy Boy's on Beastmen. Do we have any other Beastmen? No. No Beastman. So that'll be Sexy Boy. I love that he makes me keep typing that name. Okay. What were we doing? So I just did Beastman. I was on Skaven. I got knocked out like a punk ass. Hamster Berserker was the only dwarf who signed up today. I'll have to shrink his name, but it counts. Just because Gotrek pre-qualified on dwarves doesn't mean we don't get a dwarf today, so I will delete this mystery one and replace it with a dwarf flag. Nice job, Hamster. All right, and then Phoenix King Empire is our only Empire today. The Phoenix King. His name also has to be shrunk because he is too grandiose for such a small little box. There we go. Black Knight, Britannia Mirror that we mentioned. Kukinko is the only Nurgle. We love Kukinko, so that's hype. I'm gonna check my chat and see if Duck Shark answered me. Haven't played. Is final best of one? Yes. Goji, is this the only qualifier this time? Yes. So Britannia has a mirror going on. Coast, I have to deal with after the stream. No one played Chaos Dwarf today. I had multiple Chaos Dwarf signups, but none of them showed up or they pivoted. I had no Norska sign up. I had Korn. We have Rider of Rohan. And then I have these people. Okay, cool. So here's what we're going to do. We have extra slots. I didn't have any Norska signups. So Berserk wanted to sign up, but forgot. And he plays a really good Norska, so I could just contact him. I don't know. Some of that stuff I'll have to figure out after the stream. We have some mirror matches that have to be decided, and then I'll be messaging people about the extra slots and other bullshit. Okay, Spikes is battling Black Knight. All right, moving on. I don't have a message from Sipa or Charix yet, so I don't have that sort of thing. Yeah. Black Knight and Spikes are battling. We could spectate the Britannia mirror match. That could be tragic. Everybody loves heal capping and cycle charging, right? Yes? No? Yes? Yes. Let me in. Cool. Anyway, those are the people who've qualified so far. I'm checking back in with chat. We have a finals to cast, but it's currently in progress. I thought Berserk was Norse. He was, but then he didn't show up. Right? He didn't show up. Are you gonna make another tournament for the reigning faction? Sometimes I do. Though this one is a bit quicker turnaround time because the Warhammer World Cup's coming up and I don't want to overlap with them too much. So, I don't know. We were just gonna do a one qualifier. Attorney for two factions. It's not just two factions. There's also still 6 extra slots that, like, I don't know. I tend to, here's the thing. This isn't always a popular answer, but it is the true answer. And I don't, I tend to be real with you guys, even if you don't like it. I do sometimes like to just keep those 8 extra slots as invites because there's something Turin does, which people can disagree with, but it is effective for what he wants to get done times. Turin doesn't do a ton of faction war qualifiers anymore these last couple years. He often just does a faction war with the big names. But, like, there is some validity to that because when people check back in for a faction war, they want to see the big names fighting. And if they don't recognize the people, then they don't care as much. So I think there is some hybrid stuff I can do where as a caster, like, if Alfredino didn't sign up, but I know he's active, I can message Alfredino and be like, hey, do you want a slot? Because it's good for viewership and it's good for content. Now, if I did that with all 24 slots, then yeah, I think it's valid to say, hey, fuck that, fuck you, you're a douchebag. But I also do think there's a balance you can strike between having open tournaments where people can participate and get qualified, but also kind of massage certain things to up viewership. So it's like, you know, now am I saying I'm definitely going to do that? No, I need to think on it. I might go back through the tournament and just ask people who didn't win on their specific faction, but there was also other factions involved. Like, we had 3 Wood Elves, so I could, I'm not trying to promise something I'm not going to do, but I could go back and hit up Loopy, who got eliminated in round 1, and be like, hey, you showed up today. I have extra slots. Do you want to play something that's not Wood Elves? I could do that. Or I could try and invite some quote-unquote celebrities like Alfredino, Gojira. Gojira is well known in the community and just kind of a funny guy. Berserk is very well known and good. Like, so I'm trying to figure out what I do with those slots, but I'm just explaining my options in case it's like, how the hell did this person end up here? Well, I probably picked between either giving people in the tournament a different faction that they could play as or finding celebrities. That's just the real answer. I could host another tournament for the slots, and I have in the past, but we just don't have that kind of time with the Warhammer World Cup coming up. And I don't want to overlap too much with them and kind of take them out of, you know, people are hyped over the faction war while the Warhammer World Cup started is kind of a fucked up thing to do. So, yeah. All right, there's my mad ramblings. As we do have the finals replay has shown up. Okay, cool. All right, everybody shut up. Just shut up. Stop it. We have the finals replay. Finals replay, and then we'll wrap for the day. Both players sent me the replay at the same time, so I legitimately have no idea who won. I just grabbed the one from Charix. But both of them messaged me at the same time. I don't know who won. We're gonna find out. Let us do it. Also, the Britannian players did not answer me. It was why we didn't end up with the Britannian mirror. I just didn't. They didn't message, and then I got the finals, so now we're doing finals. All right, what's chat saying? What's up? Share this live stream on the Night Crew Discord. Hell yeah! This is the finals of our Faction War Qualifier. Cool. For the final match, we have Wood Elves Tzeentch. For the Wood Elves, we have almost no melee infantry. We have a Wildwood Ranger and the Wraiths of the Frozen Heart. Triple Zote, Wildhunts of Kronos, and a Wild Rider. Spellweaver of Shadows with Melkoth's Enfeebling Foe, and then 2 Waywatchers. On the other side, a Changeling that turns into Queek Headtaker, because Sippa is a memer at heart. And he brought my boy. Final Transmutation with the Skull of Catan. We have a Chaos War Shrine of Tzeentch trying to constantly charge up Winds of Magic. And he's surrounded by Chaos Warriors and Chosen of Tzeentch with another caster who casts Blue Fire. A truly insane build to bring, as he's gonna just try and sit on the point and outlast the Wood Elves. Hi, 100 Days Music. Bye, 100 Days Music. Blue Fire is out onto the Waywatchers, and like, I get it. The Queek thing is silly. I think the Queek thing is purely a meme, but I get the rest of the build. Incredible amounts of armor against the Wood Elves, and you're just gonna sit on the point and you're like, I don't know, TikTok, motherfucker, kill me in time or don't. And Blue Fire to counter shoot against Waywatchers, Final Transmutation with the Skull of Catan combo to punish blobs or single entities of some kind, like Durthu or Orion or something. But seeing no Durthu, seeing no Orion, I think we're going to get mostly Blue Fires counterfiring the Waywatchers and getting rid of them. As the Chaos War Shrine is pushed away quickly. I don't know how much Winds of Magic it was able to charge. It looks like literally none, as it's currently sitting at 0% on both stats. But it was a pincushion for the Way Watchers. And like, Sippa has a real shot to win this with this crazy build, because it's just so many bodies on the point, and I think he was suspecting that Charx would try and kite in some form. So you only have so long. You only have so long. Which Lord or Hero the Changeling can take best buffs and help his allies survive Elven Archers? Festus can be okay. I think if he can take Festus, you can bring some healing, the auras. Is that Changeling Queek? That is Changeling Queek. Festus is probably the best to survive Archers specifically just because of his AoE healing, but I don't play that much with the Changeling, so if someone told me that there's for some reason Festus doesn't get his auras or the Changeling can't pick Festus for some reason, I would believe you. I think Sippa picked Queek for me, like just because he knew I was casting. He knows Queek's my favorite Lord, even though Queek's trash, so I think he was just having a bit of fun. That sounds very Sippa. As the Sorcerer of Tzeentch gets an Arcane Surge. Also taking double caster, so if they do manage to snipe out one, you have a second one is nice. Changeling into Karnak is the way? Yeah. Chosen of Tzeentch getting hit with Melkoths, and their back was turned. I like this from Charx. See, Charx is min-maxing even this crazy game that's happening. He's separated his Way Watchers, so whatever he's targeting can't shield both ways. And Sippa has been trying to rotate whenever a volley comes in, but it's pretty difficult to do. Changeling into Bathsheba. So the Chosen have been nearly picked off, but the Way Watchers have already used half their ammunition and they've killed one Chosen. They killed the Shrine too, right? Not that they've done nothing, but it's not like they're gonna kill the whole army. And the blue fire span from Sippa is getting very damaging to the Way Watchers. Down to 20 models from 60, 700 HP left on those guys as we're getting Melkoths. And Spellweaver of Shadows is standing there casting Melkoths, but Queek Changetaker hits her in the face. Oh! She's running, but not fast enough. She got hit by Queek. That's all you need. Just one hit, baby. Just one hit. All right, Wood Elves are up on the balance of power. They're just trying to whittle down the Chosen before they start cycle charging. Wild Riders do not have armor piercing, but all three Zotes do, and the Wild Hunters of Kronos. And you do have a Wildwood Ranger. You have one infantry ready to start churning through Chaos Warriors, which is why Tzeentch's Chosen have been picked out, because the Chosen could actually like beat the Wildwood Rangers maybe in sustained combat. Chaos Warriors cannot. So the Chosen are the targets. Fat healing is called Lore of Nurdle. Green Knight is also pretty good, but against Wood Elves specifically, I don't know. There's a lot of magic damage in there. Another good charge in. The Chosen leadership manages to hold for now. The Wild Hunters Kronos back off. I mean, Sippa took a build to just sit on the point, so he has no agency in this game right now outside of casting blue fire over and over again, but no mass to stop the charging, no counter firing, nothing like that. Another blue fire is down. The Zotes do their best to block it, but a couple of those sneaky Tzeentch tendrils still get through, and that Way Watcher is down to 9 models it is going to rout. Now the Spellweaver has a lingering dot and will die of shame. Yeah, if the Head Taker touches you at all, you just more Ascension to death no matter where you go. That's not true. I wish it was true. Then Queek might actually be good, but it's not true. Wild Riders, Wild Hunters of Kronos running around in circles. She reveals units map wide, Loopy. Oh, I didn't know the Changeling also got that ability. That's messed up. Way Watchers, 4 volleys left. The other one has 10, but is being forced away. One more blue fire is probably going to kill or shatter the unit because there's no Zotes to protect it this time. I wonder if the Tzeentch caster can get another blue fire off before they get too far away, but it seems like they will. The only reason I think he would, I know that unit is hella damaged, but it has 10 volleys left. They can come back and just fire for a long time. There's another blue fire. It's not going after them. It is instead going for the Wildwood Rangers. He's identified that those could be a problem. And Charix has to get moving. He's done really good damage and stuff, and he's being very patient, which is great. But you do still have 250 seconds, so approximately 4 minutes to take this point. You got to take this point in 4 minutes from Tzeentch. That is going to be brutal. I think at this point he's probably got to go more for army losses rather than capture weight. I really think it's unlikely he's going to capture it. Because to capture it, he would have to kill the whole fucking army, and at which case, it's army losses. It's not even about capturing. So in he goes. The Zotes are going to start getting involved, and the Zotes have a lot of bound spells. Flesh to Stone, unfortunately, is literally entirely useless versus Tzeentch. There is no character. Okay, it's good against Queek. There's no character besides Queek that does not have magic damage. So the Flesh to Stone of the Zotes is going to be pretty whatever. But the Zotes' armor piercing and mass is going to be important. What value on Way Watchers? 2,100, and the routing one, 1,200. Zotes are in with the Wild Riders, though stacking them on top of each other, the Wild Riders are actually kind of getting in the way of the Zotes charge, so I don't love that a bunch, but some of the Chosen are starting to route. These other Chaos Warriors are also getting very close to routing. And Tzeentch just needs to hold for another 3 minutes. 3 minutes is all that's left for them. Chosen, Chaos Warriors, everybody thinking about routing, but not doing it just quite yet. And I'm betting, I mean, who could have known this is the build you're going to face, but I'm betting that Shadows Caster wish they had Pit of Shades about now. As the Zotes don't want to give up on the charge just yet. There's so many leadership bars just blinking that it seems like he wants to get them to rout before he backs off, but it's not going to happen. It looks like he's got to just accept it. Verminous Valor is out from Change Queek Head Taker, and he gets another big hit onto the Lord. More Melkoths are coming out. Timer's ticking down. We're getting close to 2 minutes left. And the Metalcaster, as Grieven is pointing out in chat, the Metalcaster still has a final transmutation with the Skull of Catan in his pocket if all the Winds of Magic haven't been used up by blue fire spamming. More flags are appearing for Tzeentch as more of their units start to retreat, and the Wood Elves are just going to let them retreat. I doubt they'll spend the time to chase them down because time is now of the essence. We are officially under 2 minutes before that capture point is just going to win the game. The Wood Elves got to army loss. Can't afford to chase everybody forever, but they also can't allow them to just come back, because once again, this isn't going to be about capturing. This is going to be about army losses. It's the only way the Wood Elves win. They can't possibly capture it in the amount of time left. So it's like you can't let these guys rally and contribute to the balance of power, but you also can't dedicate valuable resources to chasing them down as everybody is starting to rout. There they go. All of the Tzeentch forces are routing except for the single entities at this point. Can they drag the leadership down? I mean, one of the Lords is a Skaven, for God's sakes. Maybe they can capture it, as so much capture weight is on the point. Tzeentch is routing in every direction. They don't have the capture weight, but they just need to hold for another minute. Just 1 minute and you would have won the game, but it actually is going to capture. No fucking way. I was sure Tzeentch would army loss before they would lose capture weight, but the routing units don't count for you on the point. So now it is for sure a Wood Elf victory. The only win condition Tzeentch had was standing on that point, and they don't even have that anymore. The Wood Elves can back off. They can heal, they can chase all your units without fear of losing the game, and eventually Queek and the two sorcerers are going to get cycle charged to death. I am shocked we have not had the final transmutation Skull of Catan combo, but I just don't think he has the Winds of Magic. That was the other G Grieven. All right, Enfeebling Foe onto these Chaos Warriors of Tzeentch just to let the Wild Hunters of Kurnos rout them again. There is the juicy final transmutation with the Skull of Catan. It's not overcast, it is undercast, but it's still hitting everyone besides the Lord. It was just a fun little bit of poke. Let's check his value just because I want to see it. 1,300 value on that final trans. Still pretty good, but not enough to win the game, unfortunately, for Tzeentch. At this point, I would like to see the Wood Elves unblob a little bit, run everybody down, because now you have time to do that, and then, like, slowly feed people into the blender. I think he's got this game locked down anyway, but I don't think... I think this could still be optimized a little bit more. Did Zaytang the Watcher and the Green Guardian get any buffs in the last Rearker patch? The Terracotta Sentinel did. Zaytang did not. Terracotta Sentinel got some buffs to his weapon strength, trying to make him better at clearing out crowds, which, like, technically it did, but it went from being terrible to being bad. So it's still not good, it's just not garbage. Blue Fire looks like it's going for the Caster Lord or the Wild Hunters, Wild Riders. It's hard to tell which it was actually aiming at because it all hit the Wild Riders, but it was kind of going for her. I don't know. Tzeentch Caster almost routing, Queek almost routing, Chaos Sorcerer of Tzeentch almost routing, and I forgot this is a replay. I can just hit this little button if I want to. There's no hope for Tzeentch here. They're all gonna die. The Wildwood Rangers really need to be getting most of the work done in here. Anti-infantry armor piercing. They'll do real damage. As Charks is just chasing off all this random crap. But yeah, I honestly think too many Zotes are in there. I think that the Zotes are getting in each other's way and the Wildwood Rangers' way, so they've been hindering their ability to end this game so far. Army's fault, not Queek. Easy. I mean, change Queek's value is 1200 as he's just been bumping with Zotes all game. Wildwood Rangers surrounding him. Zotes as well. Queek's leadership at 3. Down to 6. 2 for one of the casters. And if any of those single entities routes, I'm predicting army losses. There's 1. Ah, I was wrong. It takes 2. It takes 2. Queek's also gonna route though. He's gonna route. There it is! There it is! It's over! It's over! Alter useless? Yeah, it got sniped out right away. Weight Watchers did well, Wildwood Rangers did well, Lord did fine, Wild Riders did pretty well, and then Zotes struggled, but they were there for other things. For Seepa, Queek was very funny. His build, his casters did well, his infantry struggled, but that was kind of the whole point. GG. It's kind of an odd duck finals to land on, but it is where it is. So Charks and the Wood Elves win our Faction War qualifier. And that will be that. No more games for today. I do have one nice announcement for the 75 people watching. If you're watching a Faction War qualifier, you are probably well plugged into the scene, but just in case you are not, and I've mentioned it a couple times during this stream, we do have a big tournament. Not me, I'm helping with it, but I didn't start it. The Warhammer World Cup is back. I was not involved with, I believe there was a domination version of this at the start of Warhammer 3, but there was a very big tournament in Warhammer 2 that I participated in, and it was super fun. It is back for either its second or third iteration, I forget. It's hosted by a lovely team of admins. I am just helping cast it. You can sign up for free. The current prize pool is $500. You can also contribute to that by going to their website, warhammerwc.com. Join their Discord to register, support offers to the prize pool, and it'll be promoted by and possibly cast by all sorts of individuals. You can see down there, you see some big names. There's Turin, there's Dav, Anticity, Great Book of Grudges, myself, Lore Master of Sotek, Zerkovich, Guillama, Coma White, possibly War God, if that's his picture right now, Akoi, Logic, Crabbling, Battle Z, and I do not know any of the other pictures, but surely a lot of people. So it'll be fun. Sign up, participate, or if you don't feel like participating in the super big tournament, then at least check out these other channels, and yeah, watch that content. Should be a lot of fun. Cool. Now let's pull up the Photoshop again. So the Britannian mirror is ongoing. Corn mirror is yet to be decided as far as I'm aware. Duckshark said he messaged Ash, but hasn't heard back, seems. I messaged Black Knight. He sent me a replay. I'm assuming he won, but I don't know who won between him and Spikes. Oh well. I'll give it like 10 more seconds and I'll shut the stream down. If people want to know who the Brett winner was between Spikes and Black Knight, they have 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, you'll never know. Yeah, so I'm gonna figure this stuff out, but I gotta go have some lunch. I am hungry. Congratulations to everybody who got in. Big congratulations to Milky Way for making it on the Skaven. Proud of you, buddy. Even though you're my competition, and if you hadn't frickin' signed up, I would have got in for free. But sure, dude, whatever, it's fine. It's fine. Black Knight did actually win the mirror match, so he is our Britannian representative. Neato Burrito, goodbye forever. See you never again. This was it. This was the last stream of all time. Fuck you. Are Pleasure Seekers OP? I think they are, but they are very expensive. So they have some weaknesses. Conquest, right? Yes, it is Conquest. Sleeping Druid. Yes, yes, yes. All right, goodbye. This was my second stream of the day. I am tired. Goodbye. Get out of here. Goodbye. Go away. Leave. Go away. Goodbye. All right, now that we got rid of all the filthy casuals, who's ready for a 4-hour CK3 stream? Crusader King, let's fucking go! No, I'm not doing that. Goodbye.